Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavour. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles Carter of Mars, and today I am joined by Buckaroo Banzai himself. It's Gadget.
Hello.
Stig Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
Hello.
Matthew Broderick's Biggie Zilla.
Hello.
Hello. And last but not least, the star of Aragon, it's Candy.
All right, Babbers, it's me, Candy. Do you like that, Stig?
She's back.
It's hard to tell who's doing it.
I know, exactly.
She's
sounds
back.
Exactly the same as
It's not
me.
the boy zone anymore. So, get ready. But before we move on, we've got some corporate shilling to do, haven't we, Stig?
Oh yeah, yes we do. And by that, we mean our Patreon. If you go to www.patreon.com/modernescapism, on there you'll see everything that we have to offer with our patrons. We have 3 different tiers. The first is £5 a month, Modern Escapees. You'll get an extended edition of this episode every week, as well as at least one monthly special and any other specials that we are doing. We also do a Dungeons and Dragons play podcast called Do Dragons Dream of Scorched Sheep? And for £5 a month, the Scorched Sheep tier will get you early access, ad-free versions of the podcast, as well as any artwork, battle maps, original music, character sheets, and anything we do for the show. And you'll also be able to suggest character names and NPCs and item names for Gadget to use in the campaign. And if you're feeling flush, the Biggie Bundle is £7.50, and that gets you everything.
Oh, yes.
All of me.
Thank you very much there, Stig. So, without further ado, let's just find out what we've all been doing this week. It's been a crazy old week. It has for me, but I don't know about for you guys. So, Gadget, what have you been up to, pal?
It's been quite a quiet week for me, actually. But,
okay.
I finished Shift, which is the second book in the Silo Saga, so the follow-up to Wool that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. That was tense, and that were cracking. I really liked it. It was brilliant. So I've started Dust, which is the finale of the trilogy. And that one's kicked off like within the first 5 chapters. It's just all kicked off. It's great. Me and Pip have been rewatching The Office, the US version. We were just bored and just randomly put it on somewhere in the middle of season 5, and we're coming towards the middle of season 7 at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's classic. It's funny. I really enjoy it. It's nice kind of background watching. You know, you can have it on there. The gags are pretty funny. The performances are all good. We've all worked with people like the people in that. So
Do pods
but
with them as well.
The main thing I wanted to talk about is today I went back to Fallout 4 for the first time in 2 years.
Is that because we've been talking about it?
Yes. After the rant I had about Sean on last week's podcast.
Yes, I have feelings.
We'll get to those.
And also because I've been watching Menu True Nerds You Only Live Once playthrough, which is fucking hilarious, and I would recommend everybody watch that one. I just felt the desire to go back to it, so I loaded up a save that I'd last touched in 2019. And this was from a challenge run I was doing when I was trying to break back into YouTube, which was melee only. No projectile weapons, no laser weapons. It was just hand-to-hand melee combat.
So basically Skyrim, but in Fallout.
Yeah. And I was at level 20 or so, something like that, and I'm completely overpowered and wrecking shit inside out and upside down. Because there are a selection of perks that you can take throughout as you level up your character, which improve things. For instance, one of the big downsides to being a melee-only character is when you want to attack someone, you have to get very close to them, and they usually notice that.
Yeah.
So there's one of the perks, I think it's Big Leagues or something like that, I can't remember which one precisely it is, but basically when you use the VAT system, the automatic targeting, it kind of teleports you to them.
Isn't that Big Hitter?
Big Hitter, that's the one, yeah. So it kind of teleports to them. So, I get within 20 foot of somebody, I hit the VATS button, it gives me my 95% to hit them, and I just blink from where I was to them and stab them in the back. Also perks like Ninja, which gives you like enhanced damage on sneak attacks, and then obviously putting experience points into stealth stuff so you can hide around.
Are you not allowing yourself to use the Mysterious Stranger?
No, I'm not using Mysterious Stranger because that's a gun.
No, but he's using it, not you.
It's still a gun. So at the minute, I'm alternating between a legendary weapon called Pikmin's Blade, which is it looks like just a Bowie knife, but it inflicts bleed damage really quickly. So I can one-shot Death Claws, like huge, massive lizard enemies. Just one-shot them and just watch the health bar just drain down. Fucking hilarious. And I've also got a Super Sledge, which is a sledgehammer with a rocket on the back of it.
Of course.
I meant one
speaking.
that went down snow and stuff. Oh, that'd be awesome.
No. So a sledgehammer with a rocket on, just to enhance the swinging ability of it. It's fucking incredible. But what I know is I've had this game since it came out, and this is I had it on PlayStation 4, and now I'm playing it on PC. The game still manages to surprise me. So I was texting Candy about this earlier today. I was just milling around near Oberland Station, and I found a crashed alien UFO.
Did you not notice that before?
Never noticed that.
You can
6
see
years
it
I've been
crash.
playing the game.
You can actually see it crash.
That's what happened. I was down the south end of the map, and I saw it fly over the top of me. And then I went and found it around Oberland Station. It's just I didn't know this was here.
Yeah, and you get a weapon that you can't use in your playthrough.
Yeah. What else? What else I know? I found a vault that I'd never encountered before. Vault 88. Fuck that vault.
Why? What's happening there?
It's you go in and it's basically it's kind of halfway collapsed. There's a ghoul running it. The overseer has been turned into a ghoul.
Oh.
But as you kind of explore it, she basically encourages you to clear out rubble and explore the whole vault.
Mm.
Bear in mind, I'm a melee build as well, so I'm clearing out rubble, dealing with mole rats, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I get to a point where a big chapter points in it. I clear out the rubble, and 5 rad scorpions turn up. And if you want to wear a Fallout, rad scorpions are what they sound like. They are giant scorpions, and there was 5 of them, and there was me by myself with my little knife.
And rad isn't short for radical.
No, it's radioactive. So yeah, fuck that vault. I died, and then I reloaded, and I noped out of there. It's like, no, love, you can just deal with your rad scorpions. It's fine. I don't want to deal with that shit. And yeah, I like exploring the world. It's not the best Fallout game. I still think the best Fallout game is New Vegas, but it's the best Fallout world to play in. When you go back and play New Vegas, you're very aware that you're running on really old technology, and it's it's quite barren.
Brown.
Whereas I don't care about the brownness, but it's just that they got huge tracks of nothing.
Yeah.
In the game. Whereas with Fallout 4, they've got so many things like random encounters or just random buildings or just little bits of storytelling. You can walk up to a bit where there's a chair, a table, and a set of binoculars set up over a settlement, and you're there's this tiny little bit of storytelling. Or a shack that's been built on a hill overlooking another settlement that's full of gas bottles with pipes in them to launch them out, and you can just send an aerial assault at a settlement if you want. It's full of all these random little details, and the world kind of feels quite alive. I say it's not the best Fallout game, but it's definitely the best kind of looter shooter RPG I think I've played. To be fair, Fallout 76 does look better, but
I only played 10 minutes.
It's got 16 times the detail.
Now, Fallout 76 is a much better looking game. It's just dull to play. There's just not a lot going on there, and I'm not really big into the base building stuff, or playing in survival mode, so it kind of lost its appeal quite quickly for me. But no, I really like Fallout 4, and it's a nice comfort to go back and play. I may start a full new playthrough where I can use guns. That would be nice.
I actually wouldn't mind you, maybe some point in time, you streaming that for us, for our benefit. Because you're quite a descriptive person when you're playing those kind of games, and you'll talk us all through it, and that it'd be nice.
Yeah,
especially for people who've never played it before.
It's a fun game. I like it, and I just like fucking around in the Commonwealth and just seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Just wander into a house, find a load of raiders, murder them all, leave.
Well, as we've mentioned, the main plot is not the thing to do in that game.
No, fuck
Just go do what you want.
You do maybe the first 2 hours of the plot until the game says, right, off you go, do what you want, and then you just go and murder everything. But yeah, no, it's great. I love it.
Excellent. Great choice. Great picks. Great. Really easy week for you. I'm going to go to me because that's who I can see underneath Gadget. I have got 2 computer games to discuss. Oh, no, computer games. Oh, gamer. Right, the first one.
This is finally admitting it.
Yes.
The first step, isn't it?
Game of Boy Noodles.
Hi, my name's Oodles.
It's the first step admittance. Oh, wow. And I've been playing games for 30 years. Oh, dear. Yeah, the first one, I just want to talk briefly because I've not finished it. And the second one, I've not finished it, but I've played a lot more of. The first one's called The Artful Escape. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this. It's brand new. It's on the old Game Pass currently. It's published by Annapurna, so there's a little bit of a seal of quality there. And it's developed by a team called Beethoven and Dinosaur, which is a great name for a game studio. It's also directed or created by Johnny Galvatron from the Australian rock band The Galvatrons. So basically what this is, The Artful Escape, it's the coming-of-age story of a young man named Francis Vendetti. He looks like a typical hipster. When you walk around Camden or, I don't know, the hipper parts of where you all live,
Pontefract.
There's not many hipsters in Pontefract.
No, this is where I live.
Maybe Leeds. Maybe in Leeds, yeah. A lot of hipsters. So, your denim jackets, your little glasses on and stuff like that. But the funny thing is, everyone in this video game wears glasses, which is funny. It's nice. But the game is a guitar, David Bowie-esque odyssey. So, if you like guitars, you'll love this game. Basically, Francis doesn't want to be in the same shadows of his Bob Dylan-esque uncle that was world famous and country singer, folk music, not country music, folk music singer. And everyone's expecting his nephew to follow in his footsteps. But really what he wants to do is play funky, shredding solos and Jimi Hendrix-style stuff. So he goes on this fucking wild, like acid-induced space odyssey playing guitars. Remember Guitar Room, man?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but not difficult.
Oh.
So yeah. So it's fundamentally it's a platforming game, which don't let that put you off. It's also an exploration game, similar to like remember Into the Woods and things like that.
Yeah,
where you're going around, you start knowing everyone that lives in your village and stuff like that. But there's a neat trick. At the beginning of the game, you meet the alien Zom, and this alien comes down and tells you that you're the one, you're the chosen one, and he gives you this alien guitar that can light up any electrical bulb in the vicinity and set fireworks off. It's hard for me to explain it to you, but...
Are you sure you haven't been taking acid?
I'm positive. I mean, not for many, many years. And then...
Sounds fucking wild.
And then Zom then brings down your new mentor, Lightman, played by Carl Weathers.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. So he comes down.
That coming.
He comes down from space like Jimi Hendrix, but Carl Weathers' voice. Basically, it's Wes Anderson meets just acid. So it's quite quaint. It's a nice story. The voice acting's all great. There's Lena Headey, she's in it. Jason Schwartzman, Mark Strong, Michael Johnston. It's really strong cast, and it's just fucking fantastical. Like the platform bits, they're quite similar to like early Rayman. Do you know? It's just basically you jump over gaps, but at any point you can start shredding the guitar. And rather than being bored of just going down these platforms, you can just be shredding while you're doing it, and the actual solos that you're making and the shredding goes with the music, whatever's playing in the background. It syncs perfectly. It's just
nice.
it's so fucking good. And then you have boss battles, which are like guitar offs. And it's just, oh man, it's like, it's cosmic. It's fucking, like I said, bad acid trips, good acid trips, magic mushrooms. It's just fucking wild. You should play it. I've not quite finished it yet, but there's some fucking shocking things that happen in it. It's incredible. So if you've got any interest in rock music, even if you're into folk music, there's some of that in it, but that's mainly the butt of the jokes. It's just really good, and it's on Game Pass. But the main thing I want to talk about is something a bit more weeby.
Uh-oh.
A big game launch this week. A big game launch this week. It's called Tales of Arise. This is a action Japanese role-playing game, and Stig's already asleep. I have managed to put 5 hours into it today because I haven't been able to play it since Friday. It came out Friday. It's really good so far. Strong start. It's the 17th entry to the franchise. So, yeah, there's a lot of them. But similar to your games like Final Fantasy and stuff, they're not linked in any way, shape, or form.
Didn't realise there was that many.
Oh, they were just, at one point they were throwing them out, mate. Sometimes 2 a year. And some of them are not very good. But this one, really strong start, strong 5 hours. And now, something funny really did happen, though. I've been playing for about 4 hours. And at I think it's like 4 hour mark, the main titles came up.
Oh.
I think this is going to be a long one.
Yeah, I think this sounds like it's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Has it got anything on how long to beat yet?
Oh, God knows. But yeah, it's just a really, really, really strong JRPG. But it's kind of good for people that don't want to play JRPGs in a weird way, because it's got essences of like Devil May Cry. So like it's proper action combat. Like you press a button, and like it uses RB on the Xbox pad, so it's the same like as Dark Souls. You know what I mean? You press RB, you'll swing. And it's not random battles, because a lot of people don't like that either. There's big open maps. It's not open world because it's separated by loading screens, but it's quite open world, kinda. Gorgeous to look at. I'd say graphically it's probably better looking than Dragon Quest XI, but it doesn't have the art style of that. Do you know what I mean? It's got better like physics and like ray trace. I don't even know if it's ray tracing, but it's got reflections. It's got good reflections and good shadows and good lighting and stuff like that. But it's very anime. So if you don't like anime, it might be a stretch.
So on how long to beat, and bear in mind the game's been out at the time of recording 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently a rushed playthrough of the main story will take you 40 hours and 55 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And main plus extras will take you at least 62 hours.
It's only a quick one then, isn't it?
Well, JRPG standards, yeah.
That's not very long, but I'm just... It's what it is. The story's pretty... It's actually pretty mature and clever as an anime-style JRPG goes. You play as a man who's called Iron Mask because he's got an iron mask on and he can't take it off. Now, guess what? He's got amnesia.
Of course he's got amnesia. Of course he's got amnesia.
You wouldn't have believed it. So he doesn't know who he is. But he's also immune to pain. He can't feel pain. And
it's going to make the battle system a bit annoying, isn't it?
Oh, he can die. He can fucking die. But he can't feel pain. And he meets up with a girl, and she's quite the opposite. If you touch her, she causes tremendous pain and she could potentially kill you. Like Rogue from X-Men, that kind of thing. Now, Iron Mask, he can touch her without feeling pain. So there's going to be a romance blooming there, isn't there? The only person in the world that can touch her, and they go off on an adventure together. I'm getting, and I don't know if I'm clinching at straws or anything like that, but I'm getting. This is going to sound wild, this, because it's a proper fantasy RPG, but I'm getting Matrix vibes to this. I've got
really,
yeah. I've got a feeling the world that I'm in is not quite what it seems. There's been hints to it.
So, like every anime game ever.
Yeah, I've got a feeling this is going to do the Kingdom Hearts thing of breaking away from the game and breaking the fourth wall. But yeah, so far it's the battle system, man. It's just incredible. If you've played the likes of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, those type of games, it's a more streamlined version of that. But that's just how it plays. Really fun. You've got to be on your toes, and you can play as any of the characters that you find. You can make them your main character, but you only control one character at once. You can, rather than having summons like on some JRPGs, with this, your party are your summons, so they can come in and do super special attacks and stuff. It's really good, but like I said, I'm only 5 or so hours in, and it might absolutely fall off a cliff. So take that with a pinch of salt. But yeah, Tales of Arise, I like it so far. So
I think that generally everyone reviewed it really well, didn't they?
it's the probably best reviewed out of the whole franchise. So yeah, really strong scores. Yeah, it's just really good. I'm playing it on the Xbox Series S, by the way, and it's gorgeous. You get to choose which graphic style you want, if you want 60 FPS or graphics, blah blah blah. It's really good, really good. If you don't like turn-based strategy, like RPGs and stuff like that, you probably will like this. If you don't like anime, you definitely won't like this.
Stiggy was queuing up outside Game to buy it at midnight.
I'm sure he was.
Oh, yeah. I like anime, just not. I don't know when it comes to my games. Maybe it's just a JRPG element. I'm not all that grinding and.
I've not had to grind once on this, which has surprised me. I found it quite easy.
You're only 4 hours into it. You've only just seen the title screen.
Yeah, but I've killed like 5 bosses.
Yeah, you're not in grinding territory yet.
Get ready. Get ready. But yeah, it's really good. I've seen it cheap as well. I've seen it some places £35. And I don't know about on PlayStation 5. Probably not on that.
Triple it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been doing this week, and I've been super busy, so I would have had it completed normally, even though it came out on Friday. So yeah, Biggie, what have you been up to?
Yeah, there's a few things I want to cover, but obviously going to talk very quickly about them. I'm currently playing a bit of Inside, which I've never played before.
Ooh, good game.
Really enjoying that. That's really cool. I played Limbo earlier in the year. I really enjoyed that, and it's the same people, and I love the vibe. I really like it Inside at the moment. It's really, I'm no idea really what's going on, but I'm loving it. I think it's really cool. So
it all comes together, don't worry.
I'm sure. But yeah, really rocking that. My Dark Souls stream on Monday.
What happened?
Boy. Did that start off badly or what? I was really struggling. It'd been a few weeks, I think, since I streamed, and it was not going well, and thanks to majority of the people actually who I'm speaking to now were really supportive. A couple of friendly arseholes, Sly Reflex and M-Flem, were sledging me. But it was sort of pushing me forward. And then just before I thought I was going to quit, I did it. I actually pulled it off. I don't know quite how it happened. It all came together and I moved on. So
Did you go up the elevator?
I met the big chest that everyone was referring to.
Yeah, oh yeah.
for the benefit of the listeners, it was Ornstein and Smo you were fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big chest ahead.
So now I've got this warp thing where I can go from all the fire pits or whatever you call them. But yeah, I'm just stopped it there because I was sort of overwhelmed by the fact that I'd actually done it.
You're halfway through the game.
And you have beaten the hardest boss in the game.
By far.
It felt like it, man. And
Yeah,
I can understand why people probably could have dropped off there because I was.
You're
very
halfway
close
through
to it.
now, though, mate. You're getting there.
Yeah. Do you know what? I like the game, like I said before.
Yeah.
It's just.
And you've
It's
unlocked the
pushing me that
DLC
one.
now as well, so if you want to really challenge yourself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go to do the Artorias DLC now. Not a chance. Not a fucking chance.
Well, the best thing as well is to unlock to get to the DLC, and this is something I've always thought was hilarious with the way Dark Souls does DLC. It doesn't just like open an extra room.
Oh, no.
You have to to get to the DLC. You have to kill a non-boss character, then speak to the ghost of a dead woman, and then go to a different location, get a bit of jewelry, go back to her, and then walk into the lake behind the thing that you just killed to get to the DLC.
And then go meet a mushroom.
Nowhere in the game does it actually tell you this. It's so convoluted, and the portal to get to the DLC is like right out. It's out of sight,
And it's
So
some of
not
the
like
best content as well.
Yeah. So it's not like you would go into the game and go, oh, there's a door I can't get through. Maybe there's a puzzle to get it. No, it's fucking hidden behind a fucking Hydra. It's so dumb.
So yeah, I may need some advice when I come around to that, hopefully, if I keep going.
I did have a bit of a feeling when you got to about a third of the way through the last fight that was going to be the one, because you changed the way you were moving. You were kind of strafing to and from the column. I was like, this feels like this is the right thing to do. But
I'd run out of tactics at that point.
But it was the right one.
Yeah.
But I think somebody in chat, it might have been you actually, Oodles, said you can miss this boss by jumping down the stairs. And a lot of us said, no, just have the satisfaction of doing it. You'll feel better about yourself. And then 20 fights in, I was like, oh, mate, just jump down the stairs.
No, you don't skip the boss.
I think everyone was having
you don't skip the boss. You just make the boss run way quicker.
Right.
Yeah, but I couldn't even jump over the stairs. I was struggling.
Oh, no. But so, did you like the trick at the when you killed one of them that you had to kill a bigger one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I'd already seen that about 4 times already. It was getting to the point where I was just like, yeah, here we go. But when it first appears, you're like, oh shit, what's going on here?
The old bait and switch.
I apologise to all those that enjoy playing it and find it offensive the way I'm playing, but I'm trying really hard.
It's really offensive, yeah.
I know. But the other 2 things I wanted to talk about are slightly related. They happened yesterday. I want to talk about the great job that Emma Radacanu did yesterday, which was absolutely superb.
I don't think I know who that is.
She's an 18-year-old British tennis player. She basically qualified for the US Open, and she had to basically play the most amount of matches that anyone can ever do in an Open. Basically, she played 10 matches every qualifying round to get through, to then go through all the different stages.
In one day?
No, over the 3 weeks.
I don't know how tennis works. I don't know how tennis works.
Over the 3 weeks. It's not Royal Rumble, mate.
I don't know.
One day.
I've never watched tennis ever.
But she's completely unseeded, and she also played somebody in the final who was also unseeded. And it's never happened before, and she just was amazing. She never dropped a set in the entire 3 weeks. She basically took out her opponents with both sets. It was just lovely to watch. She was so
18?
Good. Huh?
And she was 18?
18,
yep.
Yeah.
Mega,
her opponent had only just turned 19.
That's mega. That's
super. It was class. Great. The tennis was brilliant. It was really good.
Really, I was very impressed with that. But it happened on the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
Yes.
So I've been also watching, because it just came around, I couldn't believe it's 20 years since 9/11.
Wild, isn't it?
There's a documentary on Netflix called Turning Point, which I started to watch. I'm probably about halfway through, I think. I don't know if me and Oodles are around about the same point, but
I think we are, mate, yeah.
Not going to talk about politics or anything like that. I just wanted to say that, in my opinion, it's a very well-presented documentary. It seems very well researched. It starts naturally with the event of 9/11, just some recaps, talking to...
There's some footage that I'd never seen before as well. It was
I was
harrowing.
So yeah, it was... it's quite difficult. It's quite hard at times because they're talking to survivors now. 20 years later, they're talking to families who've never found their loved ones and just have assumed that obviously the obvious thing has happened. But then they also look at how we got to the point of 9/11. So they actually go back to almost like the Cold War time when Russia first invaded Afghanistan, and how it links to potentially how this all happened. It was really interesting. It's just things that I hadn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the NSA, the Patriot Act, Bush administration, about data collection. But yeah, there's just many talking heads from advisors, authors, survivors. Just really interesting.
There's a lot more politicians in it than I'd realised, and how open they are at talking about that stuff.
Yeah,
wow.
It shows you footage. They're like the president's aides at the time, and they've actually come out and started talking about what had happened. And I don't really think it's got an agenda. I think it's just
it hasn't. No, there's
not
no
taking
agenda
sides or anything like that, which I like. I just think they're trying to present.
There's no silly conspiracies or anything like that.
But I find it really fascinating, and obviously just quite heartbreaking at times. It's just fascinating watch. But yeah, I really recommend it. I know it's a bit bleak, but you had the great achievement by the tennis player on the same day, and it was interesting because her opponent, I've just forgotten her bloody name. Stiggy, do you remember? Anyone remember her opponent's name? think it's something Fernandez, Layla
Fernandez. Yeah, Layla Fernandez. Yeah,
Layla Fernandez. She's Canadian. So naturally, as Americans do, they sort of pick the one that's closest to them. And they were more supportive to her throughout the match, even though when obviously Emma did something really good, they cheered. But you could feel that Emma was kind of fairly alone. She didn't even have a family there. She only had her team of coaches and stuff.
Wow.
And there was just a few brilliant Brits that went out there to support her. But they showed her great warmth in the end, and I think they were quite glad to see her win as well when she raised the trophy, and she's got a wonderful life ahead of her.
That happens in sport a lot, though. Sometimes, like, it's not even underdogs or anything like that. It's sometimes when you've just seen the game played well and there's passion there, the crowd can just turn on a dime. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, and it's nice to see people come together and just think, fucking hell, that was really good sport.
Yeah, I think they've both got a massive future, and it was great to see women's tennis having that spotlight as well. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But just a dark day of remembrance yesterday, but it had some real positives. And there was lots of ceremonies around the world and in the US covering that day. Just something that I'll never forget.
Wild, isn't it?
9/11, just one of those, having been there, and everyone remembers where they were on the day and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Thank you for that, mate. Thank you very much. Stig, you went up to Hun.
While this has been going on, I just got a message from my friend saying that I'd won some raffle prizes.
Wait, what did you win?
So,
some meat.
If you were in our Discord, I posted a link to a thing about his daughter this week, and he's been running the Great North Run today with his wife and some friends to raise money for that, and they did a charity raffle. Anyway, he's just messaged me saying, "Did you watch the live draw?" And obviously, I didn't because I'm doing this. And he's like, "Oh, you won. Guess what you won?" So I won a T-shirt. No, I won a T-shirt made by the company that my wife helps promote. So basically, a T-shirt from the place my wife buys stuck clothes from all the time.
That's collusion.
And is part of their marketing team. I might get to make me a T-shirt. Do you know what? Like, she always buys them for the kids. So I might be like, do you know what, Holly, you make me a T-shirt because I won it. Also some GHDs, which obviously I don't need, so Kate can have them ones.
What are GHDs?
Hair straighteners.
Oh, when anyone tells me they've won a raffle, I'm always assuming it's meat. Because when I used to go to the pub all the time, it was just always meat. A big meat raffle. You won loads of meat.
Sorry. So other than that, this week I watched a film called Vacation Friends. This is on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. It stars John Cena, Meredith Hagner, Yvonne Orji, and
I agree with you. Yes,
they're wrong. And Lil Howery, and basically it's a film about this couple who go on holiday, and they are a pretty standard couple, fairly, normal, play things by the book.
If you're John Cena.
No, John Cena. No, so this is the other couple, and then he meets John Cena and his girlfriend, and they are the crazy couple. So it's an oddball, oddball couple kind of situation, and their vacation starts off wrong, where John Cena and his girlfriend have left their hot tub running in the suite above it, and it's wrecked their hotel room. So they're like, "Oh, it's our fault. Come stay with us in the presidential suite, and hang out with us." And so they have this crazy, wild holiday, and then they go off. It's like, see you later, bye, and then they just go off to their normal lives. 6 months later, we get into the wedding, and John Cena and his girlfriend turn up at the wedding. Not invited. They just turn up, and obviously a load of hijinks and hilarity and bad shit happens. And it's a very standard affair comedy. You know what I mean? Like
we've seen it all before, haven't we?
Yeah. You've got one couple who's completely opposite to the other couple, and then they obviously they argue, but then they find out, they turn around and end up being friends, and that.
Oh my god, we're just alike.
Standard thing, but if you want something where you just like, do you know what? It's like 90 minutes. I could do with a laugh. It really helped. It was just one of those films where it wasn't offensive. It wasn't anything great.
It weren't thought-provoking. You didn't have to.
No, but I had a really good time with it. I laughed a lot, and John Cena is just proving
He's good, isn't he?
Once again, how charismatic he is. And I just love the fact that he's doing these kind of things now, just like in Suicide Squad. Like I said with that, it's like he spent 20 years playing the straight superhero, good guy in wrestling. Now he's just kind of going out there and being fun and
remember when he
swearing
were a
loads
Marine?
and getting pissed and taking drugs in his films. And do you know what I mean? Like, just being the complete opposite of everything he was in WWE.
Yeah, he was a Marine, he was a rapper.
Yeah, he started out as a rapper. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Not a real rapper, that was persona.
Not a real rapper, it was his gimmick, but he did release an album.
Did he?
Yeah, there's a
God.
So
John
glad I
Cena.
missed that one.
John Cena album with he's got proper hip hop stars and everything on it.
I love John Cena when he does like press junkets and interviews. He's always got an incredible suit on. He's always he's like
always
Mr.
got a suit
Professional. Oh, he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, no, actually, fair play to John Cena. It's like he's not, no one's ever going to say that he's the greatest rapper of all, but he can do this stuff off the top of his head. He's very good. He doesn't need any of it written down, and that's kind of where the rapper gimmick came from, because he was doing this on the tour bus. He was making raps up.
That is an underrated skill, to be fair.
Yeah,
freestyling.
and Stephanie
I
McMahon
can't
heard
do it.
him, and
So
she was
hard.
like, "This could work as a character."
Right.
And that's where his rapper character came from. Then, obviously, as he became a good guy, they started doing things like having him release an album and music videos and stuff. So,
God bless him.
yeah. But from one wrestler to another, sorry, Biggie, but I'm going to talk wrestling again because not this week, last Sunday on the 5th of
Wrestling.
September, AEW had their show All Out, and it's probably one of the best wrestling pay-per-views I have ever seen. I talked about a few weeks ago about the big return of CM Punk, so this was his debut match in AEW after 7 years out of wrestling. But everything, fresh from the top to the end, was just amazing. Every match, apart from one, was just perfect. I can't really say anything more other than just like it's got me loving watching wrestling again. Like, it's finally a company out there that's doing wrestling and the type of wrestling, the type of promos, the type of matches that I enjoy, and I look forward to watching. Like, I was absolutely pumped to watch this pay-per-view, and it did not let me down at all. So, like, the matches were great. The steel cage match, it was absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You probably haven't watched it, have you, Oodles?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I'm not used to seeing them type of spectacles anymore.
No.
And I was like, "Boo." It's just fucking wild. I bet if I was still really into wrestling, it'd have been mind blowing. But for me, I was just like, oh shit, they're still doing stuff they did in '98.
Yeah,
this is
but
incredible.
I think it's just better. Like,
yeah, I do.
I love the entrance with the rappers, the Mexican rappers, like rapping the Lucha Brothers down to the ring. They had this 22-minute long cage match. This cage as well in AEW is fucking massive.
I thought that. I didn't know if it were regulation. I was like,
it's really
massive.
tall, and one of them jumped off the top of it.
Yeah.
And they
Broken in half.
And it's very rare because I know, like, it's all made up. You know what I mean? Like, it's all predetermined. So it's very rare that I actually kind of
Thank God you realised that.
cheer for.
It's sports entertainment.
No, this is pro wrestling.
Oh.
WWE Sports Entertainment.
I see.
Got to get that right.
Got to get confused. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, like, it's very rare that I actually like kind of cheer or and get involved with the result.
Did you fist pump the air?
Yeah, when the Lucha Brothers won, because I didn't expect it, and I was like, "Fuck it, it's about damn time that they won these
I like
belts."
them. I don't know who they are, but I like them.
The Lucha Brothers are incredible. Ray Phoenix is like one of the best wrestlers out there, and like definitely going to be a future world champ in that company. But yeah, and then his brother Penta just had like this moment with his family. His daughter's coming out, and they're all like hugging him and stuff. It was just really great. It was a really good moment.
They dress incredibly as well.
Yeah, I actually love Penta's like get up with he's got, so they all the lucha masks, but then the lower half of him is all like painted up like a skull.
Yeah,
and he wears these like bright white contact lenses as well. So his look is like really great. But yeah, they had that, and they obviously had CM Punk's return, and he was fighting a guy called Darby Allin, who's this really young up and comer, but like he's already fantastic. And they did these spots calling back to when Bret Hart faced 1-2-3 Kid back in like 1993.
God, I remember that.
It's like the exact. So that match, kind of, Bret Hart was obviously a top guy. 1-2-3 Kid was just like his like first match on Raw, and they just put on this incredible match when Bret Hart like made him look $1 million. And they kind of did the same thing here, like literally did like callback spots that were exactly the same. So it's like if you've seen that old match, it was really nice to pick up on those things. And then they had, by the end of the night, they had the main fight at the end. Kenny Omega won, and then out comes, I mean, this is going to be absolutely nothing. It's like Biggie sat here going, I don't know these names at all. But if you watch this stuff, I know a few of our listeners do, but so like at the end of the night, they're all like he's all giving it on the mic, giving it the big one. I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. Out comes Adam Cole, who's just left the WWE. Crowd goes absolutely fucking ape shit. Comes down and they think, he's going to challenge Kenny Omega. No, he turns around, super kicks the good guy, and he's actually with Kenny Omega.
He's healed.
Yeah, so he's already like turned bad guy, and I was like, oh no, like that. So then and Kenny Omega's just about to say his catchphrase of good night. It's it good night and goodbye or something like that. And all of a sudden, Ride of the Valkyrie plays, and here comes Daniel Bryan. Actually, Bryan Danielson now. Daniel Bryan's his WWE name. Who's a huge...
changed it around.
Yeah, that's all they did in WWE. They just they literally changed his name the other way around.
I love it.
Like usually they kind of make up a name, but for that they just switched his names. So he comes out.
Who says the WWE is creatively bankrupt?
Yeah, but he is like one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's just the last 10 years he had to stop for a bit due to some injuries, but he left WWE this year. His contract ran out, and he came out, and it was just the crowd were insane. Like it just left everyone on such a good, such a good high. Like, so you got this CM Punk return, you got Adam Cole coming in, you got Daniel Bryan, and you also got Ruby Soho appearing in the Women's Battle Royal and winning that. Like this is another ex-WWE star. Like a lot of these ones that they've just like let go and they're not using properly. So now like AEW have taken some of them on, like the really good ones, and using them and making them look like stars. And you got Minoru Suzuki making a return. This guy's like a 50-odd-year-old veteran of Japanese wrestling, absolute madman. And he made his like debut and just had this little thing with John Moxley. It was so good. And honestly, I felt so on such a high after it and so pumped. And
is it like what got you into it in first place? That just elation or everything just coming together, and it's just been an amazing pay-per-view.
And now, now it's just like the WWE stuff is just not fun. It's just boring. It's like I said before. It's a variety show. There's too much of it centered around doing stuff with kids. Or look, like WWE currently have Logan Paul on it. Do you know what I mean? Shit like that.
That's a reason to turn it off.
I keep hearing about this.
You know what I mean? Like bringing YouTube stars and stuff like that onto the show, and like no one gives a fuck about that.
Or something now. Don't they all box and stuff now?
Well, the kids do, don't they?
Oh, yeah, I just can't be arsed with stuff like that, and like, but this has just got me loving wrestling again. Like, and it's not just me. I see so many people say that. Like, the AEW is such a good job with it, and such a good job at like showcasing their stars and making you want to watch the product. So, yeah, I absolutely loved it. It's easily one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a very, very long time.
That's awesome.
So, looking forward to watching more.
Excellent. Right. Candy, you've got 15 minutes now to basically tell us what you've been doing this week. But first, you weren't here last week. Do you have anything to discuss about that?
I would like to say that actually, I think that the best hope for the Wasteland was the Institute.
No.
Yeah.
That's synth talk, that is.
No, absolutely not. They were the only hope. They might have been a little bit underhanded, maybe.
I joined the Institute.
They were stealing people.
Oh, that's all right. It's for the greater good.
Greater good.
Shut it.
No, I just can't stand the Brotherhood. I think they're completely dogmatic. The Railroad, absolutely bonkers. It's the Institute for me, baby. I went with Sean. He was right.
No.
But yeah, what I wanted to talk about, what I've done this week, I'd like to talk about the football. Now Leeds. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to.
How dare you? How dare you?
Nice.
We all Leeds scum.
Fucking hell. I nearly walked off then.
I really wish that we had a recording of your faces because that was brilliant.
We do have a recording of his face.
Stop doing this to me. I haven't got my
Second
makeup
season
on.
syndrome, baby.
So yeah, as you know, I wasn't here last week, and the reason was I took a little holiday to London for the weekend. Now, the reason for me going to London was for this War of the Worlds, this War of the Worlds immersive experience thing. I took a buddy of mine, my best friend. We're huge War of the Worlds fans, and now this event, it's been running, I think, about a year and a half. It's brought to you by a company called Layered Reality.
Ooh.
I haven't heard of any of the other events that they put on, but essentially what it is, it's well, as it says, it's an immersive experience. So you've got live. Has anyone been to the London Dungeon before?
Yes.
I had a long time ago.
The York one.
Yeah. So essentially, it's kind of the same thing. So it's a bit of audience participation. You've got live actors. You're on different sets, and
Lots of dry ice.
Lots of dry. Oh god, yeah, there was, and pyrotechnics as well. But there's also a VR element in this as well. So there's about 4 or 5 sections of VR, and it's the original story of War of the Worlds, and it's got the original Jeff Wayne soundtrack as well. So you've got the come mask on, you've got the music blasting the whole way through. So you kind of know where you are in the story according to the music. It was absolutely incredible. It was so much fun, and the whole thing lasted about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I think you have a break halfway through, and the break you get to stop in a bar, and you've got all the kind of red weed and everything.
You get to eat some red weed.
I didn't get to eat some red weed. I ate a chocolate bar actually. We did have a themed cocktail, so that was good. It's actually, there's a bar attached to it, and it's a sort of steampunk themed bar, and you've got this huge tripod in the middle of the room. Its arms and legs kind of going out throughout the bar. Steampunk cogs, everything. How did they do the Thunderchild, the boat bit? I will tell you, because this was an absolute highlight.
Yeah, that's my favourite bit.
And I don't really want to get into spoiler territory too much because it is.
Oh, I ain't going down to London. Don't you worry.
So this is one of the parts that is in VR, and it goes from kind of the Forever Autumn. It goes through the Forever Autumn section out to the Thunderchild, and now for this part, this is a VR part. So you're in a group of 12, and there's you enter a kind of set, let's say, and there's 2 boats, and it's 6 of each of you on a boat, and you're wearing the helmets.
Yeah.
So you're floating down the River Thames, and all you can see is these sort of tripods either side of you, and the boat you're on starts moving, and you kind of sail out to the sea, and you're not on Thunderchild per se, but you're sailing around it, so you're kind of seeing what's you're sort of sailing around it, and of course you've got all the water spraying, like real water spraying at you and everything. The boat's moving, and it's so good, and it's so scary. Now the person that I took, who's my best friend, she doesn't really like particularly harrowing events, and her least favorite thing in the whole world is drop rides. She hates it. I made her go on what's that drop ride in Disney World, the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And that was about 3 years ago, and she still has not forgiven me. But anyway, there's this Thunderchild moment, and you kind of get taken into the air. I was like, oh god, there's going to be a drop, because of course you're wearing the helmet, you can't see if the boat's actually sort of going up or not. I was like, oh, she's going to kill me. Thankfully it wasn't, but yeah, I thought I was going to be in the doghouse again. But it's absolutely really, really good fun. It's quite expensive, but it's worth every penny.
It's London, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. But it's really, really good fun. If you're a War of the Worlds fan, I would highly recommend it. And,
did they narrate it at all? How does it work?
It's the actors that are acting it. Yeah, the actors are kind of going through. And actually, the reason, they kind of explain at the beginning, the reason that you're wearing VR helmets for part of the experience. And they kind of, the way they explain it is you start off and it's looking back retrospectively about the events that had happened in the last couple of years. And they say that actually kind of harness the Martian's power to bring you this kind of experience thing, so you can relive it through the journalist's eyes.
Excellent.
So they thought about that as well. It was just really, really good. The actors were brilliant. Our group all played along and everything. We all got into it, and
I think I need to go on this. This sounds amazing.
I know. The more you say it,
do.
the more I'm like, I'd even chance London to do this.
Well, I think even if you're not a War of the Worlds fan, or even if you don't know the story, you don't need to. It's just fantastic. Please go.
Speaking of which, do you know the story of? Is it Orson Welles did the original? Is it Orson Welles?
He did the radio broadcast. Yeah.
And did you know that caused panic when he first?
No, that's a myth, apparently. I mean,
are you sure? I heard that was true.
Look it up. Apparently, that's like an urban legend that people were panicking and running around the streets. But apparently, that were really small scale, like maybe one town.
They did do one in the 70s
real.
as well, over in the States, and I think that actually did cause panic, even though they were sort of saying throughout the thing, this is just a play.
Yeah, but the Orson Welles one though, it wasn't the Jeff Wayne musical. It was just reading like a play version. So it's a bit scary when there's no music in the background.
Yeah, and the Orson Welles version's arranged as if it were like news
a radio
broadcasts.
broadcast. Yeah.
It's not like told. It's not said this is a play. It's just like breaking news. Martians have come down. You know, it's like,
Believe it or not, Orson Welles was a fucking incredible actor. So
as well, yeah,
paid off. But yeah, excellent. Is that all you did?
That's all I did. I've got some other things that I'll talk about in subsequent sections.
Subsequent sections, excellent. So, what we like to do now, we like to ask the smartest man in the room, Biggie, what we're going to be getting up to next. What's the main topic?
Well, mate, we live in an age of franchises. This year alone, there'll be no fewer than 4 movies and 4 new television shows based on Marvel superheroes. And let's not forget the countless Star Wars films and spin-offs of recent years and what's still to come. The hunger for franchises is so deep that even unconnected properties like old Universal monster movies were being hastily stitched together in the hopes of kickstarting a new cinematic universe. It's interesting to look back at franchises that didn't materialise, which is why this week we're talking all about failed franchises.
Beautiful.
Laughing.
No, beautiful intro, because you're so like, we've got all this, it's brilliant, but we're going to talk about the ones that weren't good. So last week we did mention that we would be doing a different topic, women in Hollywood, and we're going to discuss just how incredible they are, but we've changed our minds. So
for good reasons.
No good women in Hollywood.
no.
I went slightly wrong there.
No, we've just changed our mind. We have reasons, don't we, Stig?
Yes, they'll become apparent soon.
Yes, you'll understand why, and you'll probably love it. So we're going to go with this. So Gadget, come on, take it away. What's a failure in your eyes?
Okay, so a failure here. This one was such a failure, it failed at the first juncture. It barely even got into the franchise level. But it was a big idea from a big brain who had the inability to do anything with said big brain. So I want to cast your mind back to the early 90s. The early 90s, the PC video gaming era, when people were discovering that these things don't have to be just spreadsheets. They can do games. And you had the very classic studio id Software, who put out such classics as Castle Wolfenstein, or rather Wolfenstein 3D. They also put out a little game you might have heard of called Doom.
Doom, it rings a bell.
Yeah. So id Software was headed up by the two Johns, the John Carmack, who was the science guy, and John Romero, who was the level design / rockstar kind of guy.
Yeah, the goth.
Yeah. And as Doom became popular, and Quake became popular, it kind of went a little bit to John Romero's head.
It did. It fucking did.
It fucking did. And he was subsequently sacked from id Software. So John Romero did... He pulled a bender, as in he went to create his own video game studio with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah.
And the first game announced from Ion Storm was Daikatana, which was to be the big thing. This was this big brain idea where he was going to take first-person shooter games that he'd been making at id Software, and he was going to make them art. He was going to make them the greatest expression of human intelligence ever created.
I didn't realise he got sacked from.
Oh yeah.
He got sacked because he spent more time playing death matches in the office than he did making games.
Wasting company time was the main reason, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And he's not made a penny from anything id Software have done since, because they had an agreement between all the heads and the founders that if you left the company, you didn't get anything.
Yeah.
No severance, no. So, like,
all
Doom
the good
has
old
continued
days.
to make money. Yeah. Doom has continued to make money over the years. He hasn't seen a penny of it.
Ouch.
Wow.
That's why you always see him at the lowest form game conventions, because he just needs a couple of quid for a cup of tea.
So, Daikatana was announced in 1997. And it was announced at the same time as Ion Storm's other game, Deus Ex.
Oh, baby.
Yes. They were being developed. There was two studios. There was Austin and Dallas. Deus Ex was being done at Ion Storm Austin. Daikatana
One of
at
these
Dallas.
things is not like the other.
Yeah. Guess which one had a project manager that knew how to deal with it. Daikatana was hobbled by its ambition, the ambition of its creator. John Romero wanted to create a massive story-based game. So, like, previous to this, you'd had like Half-Life that came out in 1997, and that was a big inspiration on it because that was like the first time like a first-person shooter being done, which had this kind of very natural storytelling style. John Romero didn't want any of that. He wanted cutscenes, he wanted acting, he wanted all this kind of thing. Daikatana is a game about time traveling. It has 24 levels, divided into 4 episodes. Each episode is in a different time period. So that means he's had to make the game engine do 4 different things, effectively. He started off using the Quake engine, which he licensed from his old employer, because that's got to be a good one to go cap in hand to the person that just sacked you, say, "Can I use your technology?" And then Quake 2 came out and blew that out of the water. So then he went, no, we need to use the new one. So then it sack off the first year's worth of development.
Wow.
Yeah. It ended up taking 3 years to make in a time where games tended to take a year to make.
Yeah.
He had staff members just walk out. There was 9 senior staff members just quit one day because they were so sick of his antics and sick of like the low morale. It was published by IDOS. It was published by IDOS Interactive.
They also did Thingy as well, didn't they? Deus Ex.
Deus Ex, yeah. And they
Tomb Raider as well.
Yeah, they got to the point where they told John Romero that the game had to come out in the next 6 months, otherwise they would just stop giving Ion Storm any money. Like, he burned through like so many advances. I want to talk a little bit about the some of the plot, because some
it's
of the
shocking.
Plot it's really bad. So I'm just going to go through the first quick couple of paragraphs on Wikipedia for it, and you will see how bad this is. So, in feudal Japan, 2 rival clans, the Ebihara and the Mishima, are at war. Mishima go to the swordmaster Usagi Miyamoto to craft a weapon to end the conflict, the Daikatana, which is Japanese for big sword.
Yeah, it is.
Literally, is Japanese for big sword. However, Usagi realizes the Mishima's dark desires and gives the Daikatana to the Ebihara. Inshiro Ebihara throws the sword into a volcano at the end of the war.
What?
In AD 2455, Swordmaster Hiro Miyamoto, yes, your character is called Hiro.
Yeah, they always are in Dragon Quest as well.
Hiro Miyamoto is visited by a man named Dr. Toshiro Ebihara, a descendant of the Inshiro who is suffering from a plague and about to die. Toshiro tells Hiro that Kage Mishima, the fucking names in this, and the ruler of the planet, took over the world by stealing the Daikatana and using it to alter history, because this sword can time travel. He stole the cure to a viral plague in 2030 and uses the cure to control the world's population. Mikiko Ebihara, Toshiro's daughter, has been captured when trying to steal back the Daikatana, and Hiro must rescue her and fix history. Like, this is Kung Fury.
It's fucking, it's shite.
Yeah.
Load of bollocks.
So there was all this pissing around. There was a horrible marketing campaign, which God knows what they were thinking. Basically, in all the PC gamer mags, the advert for Daikatana when it was first announced was a red page with black text on it that just said John Romero's about to make you his bitch.
Oh, that's right.
That was the advert.
That was
it. Yeah. And apparently they said that would be edgy and it would get them attention, and it did. It was just the wrong fucking attention because everyone was just kind of like, no, fuck that. The game was a hot mess. It didn't work. You had almost every mission was either ramped up with like overpowered enemies or annoying sound effects, or you have AI companions with you in 90s AI, and they have to survive the mission. So you're always basically on a escort mission because you have to make sure these don't die to get out of the level. The levels are far too long, they're far too hard. It's an absolute mess. And it's just dreadful.
It's really bad.
And you do have to take into consideration, though, John Romero's optimism for this game, because he fully believed he was a true believer.
No, he was. Did you play the Game Boy Color version?
I'm going to get to that.
All right.
But yeah, so the optimism of John Romero was incredible, because before Daikatana's release, the corporate reports from Ion Storm forecast sales of 2.5 million units.
Fucking idiot.
And that would have been necessary for the game to go profitable. Would anyone like to hazard a guess at how many copies were sold in the first week?
9.
8,000.
Any offers on 8,000?
I'd say 12,000.
I've got 4, somewhere in the middle.
Oodles is bang on. 8,190 copies were sold in the first week.
I know a lot about Daikatana because it's so fascinating.
And its lifetime sales on PC CD-ROM were 40,000.
Wow!
Ouch!
It's a bit of a step down.
We could literally release a game
units
together and probably make more than that in a year.
Yeah.
So has it not been modded to be more playable by this point?
Yes, about 3 years ago, actually.
It's actually it's actually not terrible now.
No, it's not good. It's not.
It's not good. It's not good.
But it's perfectly possible to play it now. It's not a broken mess. The daft thing is, Oodles alluded to it before, there was a Game Boy Color version, so it was ported to the N64, which is universally hated as one of the worst games ever to exist.
So bad.
But they released a Game Boy Color version, which has nothing to do with the main game. They turned it from a crap first-person shooter into a really good Zelda clone.
Yeah, it's actually decent. It's actually not bad at all.
Yeah, the Game Boy Color version is good, and it's for, and John Romero's got it on his website. You can download the ROM for free for an emulator.
Yeah, I think Chemco did that one rather than Iron Storm.
Yeah, it was Chemco. Yeah. But yeah, so Daikatana, like John Romero had these whole ideas for like comic books and tie-in novels,
and stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, it was going to be 3 games. He wanted to do an anime or a cartoon of it and stuff like that. Like, he wanted to be this kind of multimedia blast. And the game came out years too late on an old engine. Like, it came out on the Quake 2 engine. Quake 3 was already out.
Yeah.
You know? It looked crap. It ran crap. They first showed it off at E3 and it was getting 12 frames per second.
Yeah.
On an E3 demo machine. Like, it was just an absolute shit show. And it basically... It almost ended Ion Storm. Ion Storm got bought out by Eidos on the express instruction that John Romero had to quit.
Yeah.
Like, they did not want him anywhere near that company.
No.
And Ion Storm was shut down after Deus Ex Invisible War came out, which was also shite.
Actually, it was.
But yeah, Daikatana. It's well worth looking at, and like people like Civi11 have done videos on it. Like loads of like video essays are out there on it. It's worth looking up because if you look at the actual gameplay of the game, it's dreadful. It sounds awful. It's so fucking brown.
That's just crap.
Yeah, and but yeah, it was hyped up for like 3 years. It was the Chinese democracy of games. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. But yeah, it did. And like Chinese democracy, it was shite when it did.
yeah, Daikatana, absolutely. I remember when I remember seeing like I saw John Romero at a game convention, and I think he's still proud of it, isn't he?
I mean, he got it released. I guess that means something. But
he's a fascinating individual, but he's a rotter. He's a bloody rotter.
What does he do now? Is he still...
He just writes books.
He's still in games. Romero Studios put out Empire of Sin last year.
He did a Ghost Recon. He did Ghost Recon phone game as well, apparently.
Yeah, he did phone games for about 15 years after Ion Storm.
Apparently that Ghost Recon phone game's one of the best phone games that you could have got at the time. Pretty decent.
I'm pretty sure he worked for Gameloft when they did the Rainbow Six phone game, which was really good as well. Yeah.
I think he's just better at handheld, isn't he? And he doesn't realise.
Yeah. He released a WAD pack for Doom recently as well. It was called Sigil, and it was actually absolutely banging.
Well, let's not forget, Final Doom's incredible.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the best work John Romero's ever done was the level design on the original Doom. He's responsible for the best levels in that game.
Yeah, there is some genius hidden there, isn't there?
Yeah, just under the piles of ego.
Absolutely. Excellent.
The man's mad.
John Romero, friend of the show. Right then, we'll move on to my pick, and this one stings. It hurts big style. So, I'm going to read some names out, and some people will know these names. I want to talk about Reed Richards, Ben Grimm, Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, and Victor Von Doom. Collectively, 4 of them are the Fantastic Four. One of them's Doctor Doom. Now, Fantastic Four. Everyone knows Fantastic Four from its very successful comic book runs, the Marvel property.
Yeah.
Huge, massive, some incredible stories, pivotal to the Marvel.
The Ultimates is really good.
Yeah, oh yeah, pivotal to the Marvel mythos completely.
Without they're like one of the originals before Spider-Man, before X-Men,
It pivotal to Infinity Wars, Secret Wars, all they're a pivotal. I keep saying pivotable. Pivotal. They are a pivotal anchor to the whole mythos. Now, Hollywood.
Hollywood. Slight problems with Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So, Fantastic Four has been attempted to be turned into a franchise at least 4 times. That's pun intended. Starting in 1994, there's going to be a lot of fours being said. With the Fantastic Four, which is pure shite and stars nobody of note and has a 3.8 on IMDb. Avoid.
The one with a really weird looking thing.
Yeah,
they looks like he's had his face bashed in.
Yeah, he looks like he's made out of clay.
Yeah.
Rather than bricks, it looks like he's made out of rubber. Then,
like a used condom.
Basically, yeah. But then in 2005, a young Oodles was like, "Oh, this could be it. This could be it." Because just to let you all know, I adore Fantastic Four as a comic book entity.
So, was there a Fantastic Four cartoon? I really feel like there was a cartoon at some point.
Fantastic Four! Yeah,
there's a 90s one, I think, wasn't there, around the time of X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah. And all same things. They used to cross over as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Really good, really good. But that's that. I'm talking about the Hollywood Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So, 2005, Little Oodles was very happy. A trailer dropped for a very different-looking Fantastic Four. One that harkened back to the golden age, like a more upbeat, happy-go-lucky Fantastic Four, starring Ewan Griffith, Michael Chiklis.
No one knows how to say his name.
Ewan Griffith.
Owen Grifford.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Ewan Griffith.
Close enough.
The Welsh one.
Michael Chiklis, Chris Evans, Jessica Alba. Good cast, good. Especially at the time, all young and gorgeous. Even Chiklis was gorgeous for a split second in that film.
Yeah.
The cast were all coming off other stuff though, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like Julian McMahon was coming off Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
Chiklis was coming off The Shield. It was I think Alba at the time as well was kind of getting bigger, as well. So everyone was kind of
blonder.
Everyone was on the up at that time, so the casting for that seems
it was a strong cast, and the trailer was really good, and it did launch to moderate success, not critically though. Critics just load of shite. I think they gave it a 5, like 50%, 5 out of 10 type of thing.
I enjoyed the film. I don't think it's a bad. film.
Spoiler alert! It's the best Fantastic Four film that's ever come out. Spoiler alert! I liked it.
It's 40% on Metacritic.
Yeah, I liked it.
That seems about right for it.
I like the beginning. I like the jovial nature to it, and they weren't trying to go too deep with it. Everyone's gorgeous in it. It's a great looking, a decent Victor Von Doom as well. Really decent.
Yeah. Michael Chiklis was perfect for Thing.
Oh, absolutely!
He played it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they used proper prosthetics for him as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. It made enough money to warrant a sequel in 2007. So that was called The Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, any Marvel fan
shouldn't have been.
Any Marvel fan knows Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer, one of the most powerful entities in all of Marveldom. And played by Lawrence Fishburne. Very strong choice. Very, very
What? Was he really?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it really sung. He had a good voice, but that's all that film had. That film. Oh my god.
Also, why did I think it was Billy Zane?
He looks like Billy Zane, but silver.
It does look a bit like Billy Zane.
He was played by the guy that plays the alien in Star Trek Discovery. What's his name?
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones. Yeah, he was played by him, but voiced by Fishburne. So yeah, this took a darker edge to it. Spoiler alert: Galactus is coming. By the way, he was just like an angry cloud, which for some reason they loved to do angry clouds back then.
Well, I mean, the start of the first one had an angry cloud as well.
Yes, that's true.
How they got their powers.
Yeah, it's just
It's before sky beams came along.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It just misfired. Like Reed and Sue were arguing and stuff. I'm like, you would not argue if Jessica Alba were your wife, or if he was your husband. I'm not going to say his name again, but he's gorgeous as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just gorgeous people arguing.
Especially with what he can do with his limbs.
Exactly! Exactly. And then they introduced Norin Rad, Silver Surfer, and he was like Nietzsche. It was so existential. Come on, I enjoyed the fun of the first one. And that was even worse. That was like 4 out of 5. That were really shy.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy Silver Surfer.
It couldn't get worse, could it, guys?
Oh,
yes, it
No one thought it
could. So, I just lost it, because then the MCU started coming in. I thought, we'll get Fantastic Four eventually. Spoiler alert, we haven't. Not in the MCU yet.
It's coming.
So, something terrible happened to the Fantastic Four movie franchise, namely Christopher Nolan. Why, I hear you ask? Because he brought out moody superheroes. Now, I adore the Batman trilogy that he did, but a young gentleman named Josh Trank cited it as his main inspiration. What could we do with the Fantastic Four? Let's make this beautiful, colourful oddball family and turn the Fantastic Four into moody teen dramas. Starring a great cast as well. Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell and Toby Kebbell. That's a strong cast.
It's a very strong young cast.
Now that is one of the worst superhero films that's ever come out.
Hang on, who did Jamie Bell play?
Ben Grimm.
Ben Grimm.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 5'2" Jamie Bell played the Thing.
Billy Elliot himself.
Does turn into a
big rock
CGI
monster.
thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's a really
so
strong
weird.
cast, and it's a really shit film. Has anyone seen it?
It's not one of the worst superhero films. It's one of the worst films, period.
Yeah.
It's dreadful.
Josh Trank, he came out...
I've seen the first half of it.
Oh, you don't even need to see that. Josh Trank literally walked out of the film and told people not to go and watch it. He was the director.
Hasn't he done that whole thing of like, this isn't my movie, the studio chopped it up kind of deal as well? So that seems to be the go-to these days when a
tried
film's
to make
shit.
it so dark. It makes Zack Snyder look colourful.
Wow.
It is. Oh, I like I said, imagine something you love dearly, and then someone just turning around and just butchering it. And it's not like, oh, you've ruined my childhood. No, you've just wasted my time and my money and these characters that I've grown up with that I adore. Fucking, they had
It's the rapport between the characters in the comic book.
So, do we all...
Johnny Storm and Grimm are always...
at each other, having a laugh.
At each other, but funny that it's the quips
Absolutely.
and stuff. That's what it's about.
Do you know how the Fantastic Four got the powers in the comics? We all know they went into space, cosmic cloud, blah, blah, blah. In this film, they went to another dimension. And they just came back and, oh no, we've got powers. Oh no, we're going to leave Victor Von Doom in that other dimension. Oh no, that can't be bad. Oh, it's just fucking shite. And the whole plot is how the Fantastic Four hate each other. You know, the colourful oddball family. So they're fighting each other all the way through it.
Is that until they have to come together to defeat a bigger
at the very end?
Purpose?
Yeah, at the very end. Yeah.
Fuck me.
So
I have a confession to make here. I actually watched this last week, and I can't even remember what happens even now.
It's so bad.
And now the reason I watched it was when I was in London. I was sharing my hotel room, and the alternative was this Love Island special thing. So I was like, I have to pretend I'm enjoying this Fantastic Four film. So I sat there watching it, just holding my eyes open, trying not to cry. It's like, it could be worse. It could be. I wish I watched Love Island.
Yeah, you should have done. You should have done.
Wow.
There's actual real drama in Love Island. This is just, it's just everything about it. He does Dutch angles for no reason. It was fucking.
I looked up Josh Trank to see what else he's done. He's only directed 5 films, and he's clearly got this job based on Chronicle.
Yeah.
So it sounds like
Chronicle was shite as well.
I
liked Chronicle.
I hated Chronicle.
I thought Chronicle was decent.
I was
but
fair to middling on Chronicle.
He's that's got loads of darker tones and dark side to it. So he's tried to basically take that and put it into the Fantastic Four.
You don't do that with the Fantastic Four. They're on like a scale of Ant-Man. You know what I mean? Comedy.
Yeah.
Like
Totally agree.
even like Doctor Strange is too dark for Fantastic Four.
That is for the credit for the first Fantastic Four film, the 2005 one.
The second,
didn't manage to have that. Well, technically second, yeah, but you know what I mean. They had that banter. You know,
Yes.
you had the arguments between Johnny Storm and the Thing, and you had the kind of the playful kind of flirtations.
It's just
between,
shit everywhere else.
Yeah, it's
The plot's
I think
crap.
it's not an awful film.
No,
that could
it's
have
not.
been much
It's better than Green
but
Lantern.
Everything's better than Green
No,
Lantern.
there's another film one, isn't there?
No, not everything's better than
This
Green
is
Lantern.
I
better than
like that a
Green
little bit.
Lantern.
Actually.
Green Lantern is better than Fantastic Four from 2015.
Yeah,
That's not a ringing endorsement of Green Lantern still, though.
So
I always thought that Alba was really miscast as Storm.
really,
Yeah, it just.
I'd
I'm
cast
so
her in
used
anything.
to how she normally looked. It was the hair thing. I just couldn't get removed from the fact
Fake-
that she's not
fake
a natural
blonde.
blonde, whereas Sue Storm generally is in the comics. It's just one of those image things that I just couldn't
At
shake.
least they didn't do like what they did in the latest one with Mara when they went back for reshoots. Because they didn't have much time, they just put in a really shit wig. It's like really noticeable as well. So her hair just changes constantly throughout the film when they've done reshoots.
There's an awful, and I kind of get what he's doing because it's a bit more modern, but there was an awful like undertone, like because obviously Michael B. Jordan and Kate Mara, black man, white woman, and there was this like undertone of, oh, I'm not really a real brother, but I love you like a brother. Do you know what I mean? It was just trying to like shoehorn this like race thing to it, and then Ben Grimm becoming this other thing, the Thing. Oh, now I'm the different race type. Oh God, fucking! It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just
It seemed like it was pointlessly trying to put like an inclusivity message on there when it really didn't need it.
It's the Fantastic Four, the oddballs anyway. You didn't need this. And they were fighting each other. It's like, Batman versus Superman. All that thing. Like, we get that because that's a thing that happened in the comics. Fantastic Four don't fight each other. They're a family. But yeah, it's so shy. I mean, the whole films together, they have an average score of under 4.9 on IMDb. That's all of them put together. These failed attempts at a franchise really cuts deep for me, like I said, because Fantastic Four, some are just my favourites of all time. And I hope, Stig says we're getting it, and I trust his judgment. I hope we're going to get some MCU Fantastic Four.
It's already
announced. Good.
Just no date given to it yet.
Because it's...
And at the very least, it's got a very low bar to cross to be better than the previous Fantastic Four attempts.
It just needs to be fun. They need to be... they are an overpowered group, to be fair, when they work together. But that was always the fun of the comics. They were sometimes at each other's throat like a family. It's so good. The Thing...
How would you cast it now? Who would play it now?
Oh my! I don't even know. I'd give it to some nobodies and let them, because then there's no ego from like superstars, is there? Then I think you'd have to have a famous Mr. Fantastic though.
Yeah,
as the leader,
or probably a famous Victor Von Doom.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Well, Doom would become a big hitter, wouldn't he, in the MCU anyway?
Why?
It's got to be. But yeah, I really hope and pray. Like you mentioned earlier, there's been some good TV shows. There's been some good straight to DVD cartoon movies. There's been some good Fantastic Four games. Well, good's not a strong word, but all right. It's just, I just don't,
playable.
Yeah, I don't understand why 4 attempts at a franchise. I know this, one of them was a sequel, but it's pathetic.
So the casting that obviously everyone wants, I forgot about this. So many people want John Krasinski. Can't get his name out.
John Krasinski,
yeah, and
as Reed.
Emily Blunt as
That's perfect.
Lead 2.
That's perfect.
And I've just seen here, he can't do it now because he's already in the MCU, but David Harbour is the Thing.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah, but obviously he's in the MCU as a different character now. So
yeah.
I don't know who this is that someone's suggested as
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, though.
What's his name?
Don't know. I've just seen pictures.
All right. But yeah,
just looking at like people's fan casting here.
Is that just a bonfire looking at?
The thing is, like people have always been saying, "Oh, I just want the X-Men in the MCU." Look, I've been patiently waiting for the Fantastic Four, who are pivotable again. Pivotable. We've got a title.
I think there's an episode titled Pivotable.
But they're linchpins. You know, Biggie, don't you? You read the comics.
Yeah.
They're so vital to everything.
I thought, and personally, I'm not as big a fan of the Fantastic Four as you. I haven't read everything that they've done. But when I recently went through the Ultimates,
so good.
got to the Ultimate Fantastic Four, that is so well written.
Good.
I love the different... It's still got the core, but it was still a different look at how they could have been. It's so well done.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good.
But yeah, Fantastic Four, come on. Please do us right. I trust in the MCU and Kevin Feige. I trust in him. It needs to work this time, and then we can just forget about everything that's come before. And that's my lot. Biggie, please follow that.
Well, from one group of superheroes to another. Save the cheerleader, save the world. So Heroes pretty much came out of nowhere. I think the trailers were really interesting. There was like a really good marketing campaign for what I remember.
Viral marketing as well, wasn't it?
I think it really sort of got a lot of people's attention. This American superhero drama television came out around about 2006. It was created by a guy called Tim Kring, who had support from a co-writer named Joseph Loeb from the comics. And it had this real comic theme. It was basically almost like an X-Men TV show. And it was awesome. That first season was
so
just
good.
so
First season's incredible.
fucking good. And I just thought, this is what I've been looking for. I liked the X-Men movie. I think it came out X amount of years before it, or even 2. I can't even remember now. But this was just so well done. And I thought, yes, this is how you do it. And what I liked about it was that a lot of the actors and actresses that they chose weren't particularly well known, if not brand new. Hayden Panettiere played Claire Bennett. She went on to do really well from this.
Yeah, she's still going, isn't she? She's still...
Yeah. Greg Grunberg. Huh?
She's married to one of the Klitschko brothers.
She's tiny. They aren't.
Isn't that when you're horizontal?
Yeah. We got the implication there.
Wow.
So, Hayden played Claire Bennett, the titular sort of cheerleader from the catchphrase.
So good.
She had the power of rapid cellular regeneration. Greg Grunberg, that played Matt Parkman, he was a police officer with the power to read minds. You had Santiago Cabrera, he played Isaac Mendez, who was a painter and drug addict.
Oh, I love this story.
To paint the future. You had, of course, Masi Oka, who played, again, Hiro Nakamura, who's an office worker, who possessed the ability of space-time manipulation. He had pretty much had probably one of the best friends you could ever want in your life.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh.
And also, of course, you had Zachary Quinto, who played Sylar, a super-powered serial killer, which was really cool, who targeted other superhumans in order to steal their powers. And then Milo Ventimiglia, who played Peter Petrelli, amongst many others. It was just a good cast that were newbies, so you kind of didn't know. It almost had like a Game of Thrones vibe, where you didn't actually know who was going to survive the way the show went. It was really cool. You started to like certain characters, and they were taken out really quickly. You're just like, wow. And it had all of the potential. It just, I couldn't sing any more praise really for that first season. I thought it was so well paced. Had this real comic book feel. The writing was brilliant. There was cliffhangers every episode.
Who helped with it. He did some of the best Catwoman books for DC, and some of the, not the best Batman, but some of the, when Batman's got a full team, like Batman Incorporated. He's got he's got a Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing. So he's used to doing those ensembles, and you can see it. It's really good.
And it actually went on for 4 seasons, but I am going to be honest here, be very transparent that I think I dropped off somewhere in season 3. I have no idea.
Dude,
how
I
it
dropped
ended.
off season 2.
So I genuinely think I watched it all.
Wow.
It's
And it was getting to the point where we were just like, this is terrible. And then I think it finished on a really good cliffhanger and then got cancelled.
Yeah.
I was like, no, they've done something really good with it finally. And then they cancelled it.
cancelled by the 4th season. I mean, there's this argument that we had, a discussion in the Discord about what makes a franchise. I mean, the plan for this, which did include magazines, action figures, tie-in, interactive websites, a mobile game, a novel, clothing, and all sorts of merchandise. It had spin-off series, but they were all shit.
I do own a. Do you know when you get them mini graphic novels that they send out as like for free? They're freebies, and they're only like 4 or 5 pages. I've got a Heroes one of them, and it's wank.
I just think it. Thank God that the actors that were involved in this went on to do other things, because it could have been something that could have killed the career personally, because the quality of the storytelling. There was even this weird love interest story with Hero, which just didn't work. The chemistry didn't work between the character. It just droned on and on and on from what I remember. And it was just, it was really poor. And I just think it was such a shame that it started off so well, and it could have been this incredible. Could have gone for seasons, They had
a really strong the first season with Siler and Bennett as like opposing baddies. You didn't know if he was a baddie or not, but Siler was he was so good.
Oh, Siler was incredible.
Such a good baddie.
I hated him so much because he's such an evil
spoiler
character.
alert, in season 2, less of a baddie, and then by the end,
it's
not
one
really
of
a
those ones
baddie.
It was one of those ones where it's just like everyone loved him as a bad guy, so let's turn him good. And he was just constantly flip flopping. It's just like
people forget how many people he killed.
Nowhere. Yeah.
You can't redeem.
And then there was this other story with Ali Larter, I think.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, yeah.
With her son, and they're trying to escape something. And
man, I thought you were on about the fact that she died and then just came back as a different character.
Yeah,
she did.
And then they were just like, by the way, it's she's a triplet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's just
really,
right.
really good first season.
The end of season 1 ended really well with the explosion.
With Trelly, yeah.
And it comes back for season 2, and they're just like 4 months later, and nothing's explained.
And one of them's got a beard now.
It's like, what? Like, how did they survive? What happened?
Yeah.
It's just it's all over the place.
Wasn't it affected by the writer's strike though at one point?
It was.
Like, was it halfway through season 2 or something? It just stopped for about 6 months.
You had to have a break.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, season 2 only had like half the episodes of season 1 because of the writer's strike. So yeah, you kind of have that's an issue. But
still, when the strike's over, come back and fire on all cylinders. Bring back that. It's like people talk about, remember Lost, how it started so good. Lost has got so many more better seasons than Heroes has, and Heroes hasn't got 4. Do you know what I mean? It's like
they tried to reboot it, didn't they? And that failed.
Yeah, it just lost interest completely, and it had such a strong start. It's almost like a I can't even say it now, a Firefly scenario.
Yeah,
where you're just captivated from the beginning, and you like all the characters, and you want to see where this goes. But unfortunately, that got cancelled way too early.
It was starting to stoke the fires of this like comic book nerd like revival. Walking Dead's not a million miles away in someone's mind. Do you know what I mean? Not the TV show, but the books and that. Everything's starting to get. Do you know what I mean? It's that bubbling from underneath. Like not MCU, but Marvel Studios are doing things, and there
was a lot of comedy in the first season as well, and then it got really sort of bleak and grim as it went on, and it just lost that fun as well.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
At least we've got the boys now, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that this could have gone down that route, but I mean, it just, the potential was there.
Heroes it's such a shame.
It's really sad to see what happened to that. They became villains in the end.
Excellent pick. Stig?
I'm going to talk about a 2007 film, The Golden Compass. The Golden Compass is an adaptation of Philip Pullman's Northern Lights from the series His Dark Materials. This was meant to be the first of a trilogy, but because it was so shit and failed and fell on its ass, it made no money, the sequels got cancelled.
I've seen it and didn't know what was happening.
So that's part of the problem. So this film has a cast of Nicole Kidman, Daniel Craig, Ian McKellen, Eva Green,
God.
Sam Elliott, Christopher Lee, Ian McShane.
That's so strong.
Kathy
I was going to
Bates.
say, fucking everyone's in it.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's just some of these characters, but Sam Elliott as Lee Scoresby, incredible.
Sam Elliott is anyway.
The crack casting for him as Lee Scoresby. That's how I see Lee Scoresby. And it was so good. And it's just the way they changed things so much. Like they tried to do too much with voiceovers to try and explain what's going on, which just left audiences confused. I think what they were trying to go for is, I think New Line Cinema were hoping to find the next Lord of the Rings.
Get Ian McKellen in.
That is exactly what happened.
Oh, all right. I was joking.
The voice of Eirik Bryson, the bear, was cast as someone else until the studio came in and said, no, we want Ian McKellen.
No way.
So Ian McKellen did the voice, and it's just the problem at that point is, who do you associate Ian McKellen with in the 2000s?
Magneto.
Gandalf, innit? Oh, Gandalf or Magneto.
Yeah.
Either one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just, you can't really escape it being, that's just Ian
We all
McKellen.
still do it now, don't we? It's just, to this
Yeah.
day, it's just, that's who he is.
They took the changes they made from it's a very anti-religious book. Doesn't hide away from that fact. There's a lot of comparisons between the magisterium in their world and the Catholic Church in this. So obviously that got picked up by religious groups and it got targeted against that. So they tried to change it round a bit by saying, no, it's not the church. It's just this secret organization and stuff. And it's just, no, it's the church. But you've done a really shit job and watered it down. The book has too much going on it. There's too much to explain in terms of things like dust and how the alethiometer works and who Lyra is and what's this and what's that and the witches of the north and this guy and that guy. And it's just too much for a 1 hour, 50-minute film. Like now we have a TV series, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, you've mentioned that on here before, haven't you?
Yeah, you need a TV series because there's too much going on.
Yeah.
Too much to learn, there's so much side plots going on between what's happening with Lyra, what's happening with Mrs. Coulter, what's happening with the Magisterium, and you can't tell that in this kind of story, and especially when they start cutting things and changing things and making it worse. But the biggest sin for me was the change to the end.
Oh.
The end, which was in the part of it was in the credits, and then they completely cut it from the film.
Oh.
And it's the pivotal point of Lyra's change and her character and everything which sets her off into where she's going. It's the pivotal moment in her life. And they just cut it from the film.
They just fucked it.
Yeah, for this happy ending, I guess. And the reason why was because in test screenings, people didn't understand it.
Wow. Even
though the film had already set up what was going on. So I'm going to spoil it a little bit here. At the start of the film, start of the book, Lord Asriel, played by Daniel Craig, tells the people about he's found a way to get to other worlds. He knows how to go basically through the dimension into another world. And he's talked about this. We know about this. We are shown this at the beginning of the film. For some reason, by the end of the film, people seem to forget that. And the only way to do that is to expel this like huge amount of energy, and to do that he has to kill this child.
Whoa.
And it's Lyra's best friend, so her dad kills her best friend in order to release this energy so he can travel across time. And they that was meant to be in the film, but people didn't understand it and thought it was too sad and didn't like it, so they just had this scene of her floating off in one of the air balloons just going like,
I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then they were like, oh, in the sequel, we're going to open with what we cut out. So that was all going to happen.
That's bollocks, though, isn't it? Because you need that fall, don't you, at the end?
Exactly. The whole point is like, that's the point in a character, basically.
Do people not remember Empire Strikes Back? You can do a bad ending.
Yes, exactly. You can do bad endings and have it work, and that's why that book's so good, because it leaves you on this awful ending.
And you're like, get me that next book now.
And she follows him into the new world, and test screen audience was like, is Lyra dead? Is that heaven? And I'm like, fuck me. Like, when I read about that, and then when it ended, me and my friend watched it. We're both big fans of the book, and we watched it in the cinema, and it ended, and we're like, the fuck was that?
Did you demand a refund?
It's like, they've just missed the whole ending off. And it's just to have such good casting as well. Like, I think the casting's really great.
I do. That's strong. That.
Eva Green as Serafina Pekkala she's perfect for basically a queen witch. Sam Elliott was great, and Nicole Kidman's really good. Like, they changed the hair color. That's not neither here or there really. It doesn't really matter. Daniel Craig has got this. He's got the presence, hasn't he? As like,
I remember it looking a decent film. It looked.
Oh, it looked great. I mean, it won an Oscar for its visual effects.
Big budget,
yeah. It had all the budget thrown at it, but all the changes and all the studio interference just meant that we never got the sequel. And to be honest, at the time, I was a bit bummed. Like, yes, I don't like the film, but I really want to see this book turned into a series of films,
because you feel like it deserves it as a fan.
Yeah, for years I was like, checking up, we're getting a sequel.
Yeah.
Nothing. Eventually, it was like HBO and BBC said, we're going to do a TV show. And then that took about 4 or 5 years before that materialised. But so I'm kind of in a way happy that this failed, and so they had another go at it. But the one thing that kind of annoys me more about it as well was that Philip Pullman pretty much just signed over the rights to this film.
Did he?
It was like they just dumped money on him and said, can we make a film? Yeah, here you go. Do whatever you want with
mortgages, mate. Got to pay those mortgages.
So I think he's got a bit more creative control over the TV series. But, I mean, the TV series is brilliantly cast as well. The girl who plays Lyra, Daphne Keane, she's much better than the one from the film. If you don't know who she is, she played Is it X-23?
Yes.
Is that her name?
Yes.
In Logan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's really good. And we're up to season 2 now. Season 3 is meant to be coming in sometime next year.
Oh, buzzing.
But I've been really, really enjoying that, and finally got a good adaptation.
Yeah.
Of one of my favourite series. But yeah, this film just
shut the bed,
dropped the ball with the writing, dropped the ball with the changes. It wasn't daring enough.
Yeah.
They got scared basically of going where the book goes. I mean, if they should have got to a third film as well, I'd have loved to have seen what they do with that. Because, spoiler alert again, Nicole Kidman's character kills God.
What?
Oh, as you do.
Wow. Old day aside, you love a bit of that.
So,
wow.
Can you imagine the churches of America hearing about that in a film?
And they'll be like, killed by an Australian.
Yeah, they got enough of the first book changed where it paints the church in a bit of a nasty light. Never mind,
wow.
If there's God killing involved, surely it qualifies for an anime version.
Oh, trust me, I've seen many gods being destroyed in animes.
God is not not shown in a
good light.
Not in a light where he's all powerful and thing.
You've got me more intrigued to maybe watch the show.
Yeah, I'm really hoping the show so far has done well with it.
Yeah,
and it is touching on those themes. It doesn't seem to have been scared to go where it goes in the books. So I'm hoping that they don't chicken out when it comes to the season 3.
I think the film still got grief, though, didn't it? From the Christians, so
they watered
it. They watered it down so it appeased them, and they still weren't happy, and the original fans weren't happy, so it just failed on both counts.
Yeah.
At least it didn't ruin Daniel Craig's career, did it?
Well, it was he was in the height of Bond.
Yeah.
I just started as Bond then, so he was all right. But,
he's doing all right. He's doing all right, old Craig. Excellent.
Yeah, Golden Compass. Oh, not to mention the fact that they even changed the name to appease the American audience.
What did they change it to then?
Golden Compass.
What should it be?
Northern Lights.
I prefer Northern Lights.
It's not even a compass.
Is it not?
She has.
No wonder they're confused.
I was confused. I've seen it. I saw it when it came out.
It's called a lithiometer.
Like,
it's golden and it spins like a compass. It's not a compass. At no point does it point north or south or any direction and say, I need to go this way. It tells the truth. It's an instrument where she can use to find out
like a lie
truths in
detector.
people and stuff. Basically, yeah, she can find answers, but like by using a code that's within the pictures.
Oh, you're getting me more
that's
intrigued.
not what a compass does.
I don't know about your compasses.
It's not a compass, so changing the name was like bad enough to start with. So.
God damn you, Hollywood!
Yeah, Hollywood
Done it again. Excellent, good choice. Bad choice. I don't know. Candy, you got.
I'm going to go with Universal's Dark Universe.
Oh, you. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. So if you don't know about it, I'm sure probably most people do. In the early 2010s, Universal sort of planned a series of interconnecting films ramping its old monster properties in the style of a MCU, so sort of like buddy monsters. This potentially could have included Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's Monster, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
It's because they're all in the public domain. That's why this is happening. It's very cheap to license because there's no licenses for them.
I'm sure Andrew Lloyd Webber would have said something about Phantom of the Opera.
He doesn't own that.
I really like the idea of the Dark Universe. I liked the idea when they said they were going to do it.
I did,
obviously,
mate. Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. I'm so disappointed that this didn't work out. So it was supposed to start with Dracula Untold in 2014 and starring Luke Evans. Yeah, everyone's forgotten it. Everyone who watched it a week later had forgotten it.
I've discussed that film on this podcast and that surprise ending where he ends up in the modern day so he can get into the Dark Universe.
It was meant to be start.
It was. Well, see, this is the thing. They kind of brushed that they brushed Dracula Untold under the carpet and said, actually, no, we're going to start with the Mummy. Which did possibly even worse than Dracula did. Now, I can't really put my finger on why the Mummy failed quite so spectacularly, because I gave it a rewatch today. I think that might have been the problem, you see.
It was really
It did have Brendan Fraser in it.
No, it's not that Mummy.
Yeah, well, I think that might have been the problem, was it lacked that little bit of charm. And the Brendan Fraser Mummy, the last film was awful. And it wasn't that long before the reboot, so it was released 9 years before, which in movie terms isn't actually
not that long
ago. And also there had been 5 Scorpion King spin-off films, which were still going when
the problem is, though, what happened there is because the Brendan Fraser mummy films and its spin-offs, they're just its own thing, and the Mummy with Tom Cruise, that's the Hammer horror Mummy, isn't it? It's two different, and people didn't understand the difference. So,
well, not to mention they also tried to introduce Dr. Jekyll and
Mr. Hyde,
as the kind of Nick Fury of the whole
Russell
thing.
Crowe.
Yeah,
in a word, gods and
That's
monsters.
amazing.
You won't like me when I'm angry. Oh,
and I like Russell Crowe as an actor. He's not particularly charismatic. And that was the same with Tom Cruise, and I normally find him pretty good as an actor, as a good sort of action-adventure actor, and it all fell a bit flat. It wasn't a bad film, it just wasn't ticking all the boxes, really. It was maybe just came out at the right time.
a lot of it was set in England as well, wasn't it?
It was all set in London. The whole thing was set in London. It relied quite heavily on tired tropes as well, and the script was quite weak, and none of it was particularly bad. It's just none of it was particularly good. There also was, and I posted a link in the Discord earlier. There was the original cast of all the films, and I'm going to find it now. There was.
I know Javier Bardem's. He was going to be in it, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Johnny Depp. And
here we go.
Let's get him up here.
They had a publicity shot, didn't they? They had it. It was already sorted.
Oh yeah, the deals were signed. Deals were signed.
So it's Russell Crowe, Javier Bardem, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, and I don't know who the lady is.
That's the lady who's the mummy.
The lady who's the mummy. Yeah, so her.
The lady who is the mummy.
Sophia Butella.
That's right. So they'd all had this publicity shot, and it turns out it wasn't even, they hadn't all done it at the same time, and it's really quite obvious when
It's
you look
photoshopped,
at it.
isn't it?
Photoshopped, and you can see Russell Crowe has just kind of got his arm up as if he's meant to be holding on to something, and there's just nothing there. So whether it was supposed to be a cane
His
or something,
career.
yeah. Anyway, that's irrelevant.
Who was supposed to be the Wolfman then? Was it Bardem or Depp?
Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man, I think, so they really could have
Really?
got anyone to play him.
They're not going to have Dorian Gray or anybody like that in it? Come on.
I mean, maybe eventually that was part of the. You would assume that would be part of the plan. But anyway, these didn't see the light of day anyway. But I just wonder if they had maybe, because Johnny Depp hadn't been in any hugely successful films within the past 5 years. I mean, he did.
He was in that Mordecai, which was shortly
He was in
before
Mordecai,
this, which was bleak.
Didn't he do The
dreadful as
Tourist?
fuck.
Is it called The Tourist or something like that?
Yeah, that was panned as
I
well.
was fucking shy.
and The Lone Ranger as well, which also did pretty badly.
The Lone
Speaking of
Ranger.
failed franchises, there's one.
The thing that ruined Armie Hammer's career and himself.
No. Armie Hammer ruined Armie Hammer's career.
Yeah, it did. Wow, I forgot about Lone Ranger. What a load of shite.
Yeah, so it was a collection of middle-aged white guys, as always. And I think maybe people have preconceived notions of these particular actors before they even go into it, and it maybe just wasn't exciting for people. And it may have suffered because of that. It's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it, using big names like that? Maybe people's interest would have been a bit more piqued if it was slightly more unknown actors or slightly more...
It's a shame, because in my opinion, like, these are easy, like I said, they're all in the public domain, so anyone can do a Dracula film, anyone can do a Frankenstein, you know what I mean? Anyone do that's why we always get them every few years. There's always going to be another Dracula film, another Frankenstein, all this, and it would have worked, but
I would have loved to see it work.
I remember them saying, like, the girl who played the mummy, she was going to be like the main baddie in it all, and like that was going to be the link. She's going to, because obviously she's a supernatural being, she can not die and stuff like that. And I don't know.
Wasn't it the rumours that Tom Cruise is going to be, what's his face? Van Helsing.
Yes,
He's going to be like a descendant from Van Helsing or something.
He's going to find out he had the blood of Van Helsing.
Something like that.
See, the thing is, like, this kind of thing could work, but you have to take it in different directions of what they tried. You either take it down the route of the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing film, where it's
everything in one film.
Well, yeah, but you know, just camp as fuck and silly.
Yeah.
Or you take it down the kind of the low budget horror of what Hammer originally was, where you have unknown actors and actresses playing it, and you play it for scares.
Yeah.
You either go super camp or go for scares. Don't try and make it this dark, moody bullshit.
The problem I
which is
see
what we
with
ended
it,
up with.
I mean, we've all read the books and stuff. We've all seen the original films and that. Like, let's say the Wolfman, for instance. Well, the Wolfman.
The Wolfman's down the road.
The Wolfman is a completely different like genre to Frankenstein. Do you know what I mean? Frankenstein's science fiction, the Wolfman's horror. You couldn't have played them all identical. That's
no.
And it's like, we're making a dark universe, but we're going to do it in the modern day. You didn't have to do that. I
think also the concept of having it as a shared universe thing.
It's just weird, isn't it?
It's weird for that because, like, with Hammer Horror and Universal Monsters and stuff like that, they were just all separate films.
Yeah, they never
just made by
clashed.
the same studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Never clashed, never stood on each other's toes.
Yeah.
You didn't need a fucking Dr. Jekyll as Nick Fury, you know.
We have this Avengers team up. That's old England's ass.
I mean, why wouldn't you have Van Helsing as the Nick Fury? That makes more sense, doesn't it? The guy that knows all the tricks. But oh god,
But who would they have, like, assuming they all came together in a film after they'd all been introduced, who would the baddies been fighting against?
The main baddie would have been Satan, surely.
Yeah,
maybe they would be
Dracula.
Maybe they would be fight.
Yeah, Dracula's probably.
Maybe they would be fighting against Van Helsing. Van Helsing's hunting them down.
Oh yeah, we've got to team up against this Austrian bloke.
This goody.
Wow. Oh god, so weird. So weird.
I mean, it is worth noting that they are rebooting the films, but kind of separately. They've just kind of thrown the
We'll get it every 5 years. I promise you. It's same with Sherlock Holmes. Nobody owns that anymore. Just do what you want.
But yeah, I'm really disappointed it wasn't handled correctly, because that would have been absolutely up my street, and it would have worked so well for Universal Studios as well, like the Halloween Horror Nights and everything they'd done. I would have loved to see quite a, like you said, quite a campy version. And
two good things came from it,
silliness.
to be fair, in my opinion. The logo looked incredible.
Yeah.
And there's the Mummy Demastered game is fucking brilliant.
Oh, it's one of the best Metroidvanias ever made.
It's fucking incredible. The spin-off from the Mummy film. It's fucking brilliant.
It's got nothing to do with the Mummy film.
No, it hasn't. It's got a Russell Crowe cameo at the very beginning. A pixelated Russell Crowe. The best version of Russell Crowe. But yeah, that's a fucking strong pick. It's going to take a lot of topping that. But I really do hope you've got a kind of a dark universe of a sack underneath that desk there, Gadget.
Oh, absolutely, and it's all sack.
Oh, God.
To be fair, this one's really inspired the audience. So some of these are fucking massive as well.
Yeah, they're going to be some of my mentions as well. Some of these.
Terrestrial Extra starts us off with Star Wars Battlefront. I love I'm assuming he's talking about the rebooted franchise,
Probably.
not the original one. I loved the first game. It was pretty simple. I wasn't very good at it, but I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Number 2 was announced. I was excited for more. And then the reviews came in with the whole microtransaction controversy. Give me a great dislike for EA. And now when I do buy their games, I do it begrudgingly. I wanted to play the second, but couldn't bring myself to buy it even once they fixed it. I'm so glad the Star Wars franchise is out of their control now. Fucking men.
Absolutely, brother.
How do you have a license like Star Wars?
Fuck it up so bad.
Great game engine.
Yeah, but think about who's got it
game
now.
that people like, and then fuck it up.
Yeah,
so
like money more.
badly.
Actually, to be fair, the hardest thing I have with Battlefront 2 is because it's on Game Pass. I tried playing it recently. I tried playing the campaign because everyone was saying like the campaign's supposed to be pretty good. It's like one of the better stuff. You play someone in the Empire, and you start off, you're killing rebels on Endor.
Yeah,
fine. You start up, and then there's literally just one level where she's like, "Oh, we're the baddies. Oh, I'm going to rebel now." And yeah, it's just like, what?
Stop doing it.
It's all about the multiplayer's fixed now, and it's actually, if you want, I don't know, an hour, a couple of hours of Star Wars fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
There's 9 billion games out at the moment. It's September. I ain't playing no Star Wars Battlefront. Not a chance.
Leroy Francisco comes in with a game I've mentioned before, actually. He says, the Xbox 360 game Enslaved Odyssey into the West was a great game that I would have loved a sequel to. I don't think it sold that well, though. It's based on the Chinese story Journey into the West, only it's set in a post-apocalyptic Earth hundreds of years in the future. The gameplay was great and it looked fantastic for the time. I think the Horizon games took a few ideas from the aesthetic of the game as inspiration. Yeah. And I believe Alex Garland, author of The Beach and writer of Dread, wrote the game, and Andy Serkis played Monkey, the main character.
Yeah, there was a lot of slavery undertones and a nice
it's called Enslaved.
No, I mean like there was a strong commentary on what it takes to be a slave and the slave master and stuff like that. It was quite a good game.
Yeah. Friend of the show and enemy of Oodles, Monk's Boy's written in. He says, I am number 4, a franchise that had such promise but didn't bring home the bacon. Yeah. Vaguely remember that being advertised.
Yeah, I remember that getting quite a big push on like Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
He also goes on to say Medieval, the legend that was Daniel Fortescue bumbling around as you desperately try not to fail whilst platforming. And can I also mention Fallout, a franchise that has failed more times than it's succeeded.
Shots fired. Hey, Medieval, though, the first one, I fucking loved that game.
Yeah,
and then the second one, they rushed it out. It was a shite. And then the remaster doesn't play like I remembered.
No.
That's the problem.
Now, the remaster's more just like a remake because it feels different to the original.
It feels really different. I thought that I remember the original on PlayStation being really fluid, but then again, I was a young boy.
Natalie has said, okay, what about Woolworths?
Strong pick. Thinking outside the box.
Some of my happiest memories as a kid would be getting a fiver and jollying through the shop on what to spend it on. A pack of Pokemon cards, save it for a new PlayStation game, some colouring pencils and pens. I fucking love stationery. Either way, Woolworths was a franchise I was gutted when it died. Sure, it lacked direction, it didn't keep up with the times, but it was literally the highlight of my week going in there. By hours, there was a smelly homeless man outside who was a bit scary. Or how about the pick and mix tubs and walls of sweets that goes on for longer than the Nile? I learned how to squish sweets into those 3-pound tubs like a fine art form. A finely curled giant snake to top it off, but avoid those hard sweets like the plague.
Did I ever tell you about... I passed a job interview for Woolworths 2 weeks before they shut down.
Oh, you finished
so
it
you're
off,
saying
did
you're
you?
responsible?
I got accepted and everything.
you're the category.
I got accepted and I obviously never got to orientation.
Pick and mix is just like, because Wilco's is where our Woolworths was now.
Same.
And they obviously have pick and mix there, but it's not as big as the Woolworths one. The Woolworths one was so big.
And cover
Wilco's is a
TK
pretender.
Maxx.
if
TK
you were a
Maxx
really
is
nice,
kind of what
honest
they are.
person, cover your ears now. But it was so easy to nick CDs from
Yeah.
Woolworths.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they didn't care. Woof, 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 just putting them all in your coat. I'm out of here.
But I was
Fucking wronging.
I was you literally had to take it to the counter and they had it like in a sleeve.
that's
what mine was,
bag,
yeah.
so you couldn't.
I was
You just took
nicking everything in Woolworths. Me, that's probably
They
part
put
of
the
the
box
problem.
out but kept the sleeve behind, like in CEX.
I got PJ and Duncan's album on cassette from Woolworths.
Mm.
It's my strongest memory.
Ready to rumble.
It's brilliant.
I used to get the pick and mix and eat them as I was putting them in
Yeah,
as
they
well.
still do that,
Yeah,
mate.
got to.
Still do that in
Got to
Tesco.
sample them.
My daughter does like she's like that, just eating. I'm just like, stop doing that.
We're not bringing you again.
Rob Shack has come in saying, a failed franchise fairly fresh on the mind has to be Anthem.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered the game, paid full price,
Same.
but actually enjoyed the 50-ish hours I played of the campaign. That being said, it was basically dead on arrival, and a pitiful effort to support and resuscitate the game predictably fell a few marathons short of the desired finish line. Its demise highlighted many things wrong with the gaming industry today, such as half-baked products, shipped to naive fools like myself becoming the norm at launch, and No Man's Sky levels of commitment to the project by the devs because it won't make a fuck ton of coin for them as quickly as possible, so it's easy to bin it off and move to the next teat to the milk. What? That doesn't make English. Bin it off and move on to the next teat to milk. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got
Bloody Irish.
I got that because I was weaning myself off of Destiny, and I finished.
So you went for a Destiny
Yeah,
clone.
I finished that campaign, and I didn't know about the fact that the starting gun's the best gun in the game, and I struggled.
I got it for free with my graphics card, and I wanted a refund.
Yeah. It's
Dreadful.
It's good.
It
It's,
looked
was
pretty.
it's good for the first 10 minutes of flying around. That's the problem, and then it
Do you
just
remember that video when someone joined the game for the first time in a raid and joined it at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to kick the poor guy out saying, have you not played this before? No, it's my first time. Oh, you need to leave.
yeah. Oh, it's so what a failure.
And Rob finishes off saying the mechanics and the basics of the game were bloody great and should be picked up and done properly from scratch by competent developers. And I still can't wrap my head around BioWare being this incompetent.
I can.
Oh, yeah.
They did though. They tried. They tried to rebuild it, and then they canned that as
BioWare,
well.
and
Yeah.
they've been dropping the ball for ages, like fucking Andromeda and
Dining out on previous success.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
shite.
John Cheatham has said, Terminator. They just can't get this right. An invincible man from the future who has come to kill you should be fertile ground for action and horror. Two genres the original film splits the difference on basically perfectly. They keep trying to remake the classic blockbuster redefining first sequel with the barrel-scraping turd that is Genesis being the franchise's lowest ebb.
Genesis.
Genesis, yeah.
There's been so much Sarah Connor that she's been played by both Cersei and Khaleesi.
Radacanu.
That's nothing compared to the procession of John Connors that have pouted across the screen.
Oh,
See, this is
Perhaps-
interest, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not failed financially.
no, it's not.
Artistic,
They make money.
Artistically, after the
Yeah,
first two, it's
artistically,
just a
Critically as
shit.
well.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's the old problem of narrative potential slaughtered on the altar of law.
Yeah.
They keep wheeling out Arnie, the stakes are always planetary because it's hard to one-up a world-killing, self-aware AI, but it's all forgettable and they reboot it again in a couple of years later. I enjoyed Dark Fate with its bevy of arse-kicking leading ladies while I was watching it, but I'd be hard-pressed to tell you anything that happens in that movie. A failed franchise that contains two of the best sci-fi movies ever made, but at this point it's a total failure nonetheless.
Ba-bum, bum, ba-bum.
I love how they keep wheeling Arnie out and then having to come up with backstories to explain why he's old. Why he's shorter. and
Genuinely,
older. It's
Dark
just like,
Fate's the best attempt to
apart from the fact that it was just like, oh, this Terminator completed
he
his
ages.
job. So he went and became a family man.
Yeah.
It's like-
And they even say in that film, he doesn't have sex with me. It's not a sexual relationship. He's just my husband.
Just looks after her.
We can all relate to that, can't we?
Ray has said the Deus Ex franchise has been receiving love for decades, but after the less than expected commercial performance of Mankind Divided, sequel development was put on hiatus despite good reviews. The word hiatus may sound like the brand hasn't been gutted, but considering the copyright holder Square Enix has been shifting its focus to MMO, mobile game, and even manga publishing, the break may be indefinite. And this is how ridiculous. Like, Mankind Divided is a great game. It ends a bit too early, but it is a great game. Square Enix wanted it to sell 5 million copies.
Stupid.
It's a fucking Deus Ex game.
Stupid bastards.
It's a hardcore sci-fi cyberpunk game. It's never going to sell 5 million copies.
I all to this day, I adore the original.
Yeah.
I love all of them. I think they've been brilliant.
Invisible War.
Off Invisible War.
Come on, you did
I
Give up.
still enjoy playing it.
Give
It's not the
up.
best one by any means. I enjoyed it, though.
I don't think it's ever hit the heights of the original. The ones on the PS4, yeah, fine. I liked them. I don't like his voice. Hey, I'm gonna go inside that building. I can't even do his
He
voice.
sounds like Snake.
No, he doesn't. He sounds worse.
Yes, he does.
No, the wanted him to sound like Snake. Anyway, Ray goes on to say, it reminds me of Shadowrun. Shadowrun Return game trilogy are delivering better and better gameplay, stories, and characters as the
Agreed.
series progresses. But because the tabletop game they based it on is owned by Microsoft as part of an acquisition, the studio that made Return found it a monumental task to negotiate further deals to use the IP, putting the title in hibernation. In the meantime, Microsoft may not even realise they own the franchise because it's buried under a 6 feet long list of IPs that it owns. As a fan of these two titles, the future isn't very bright for me. Copyright is essential for protecting creators. However, in some cases, it's left good franchises sitting in the vaults of big corporations, never to see the sunlight for years, if ever. I can only wish there would be a way around these copyright hogging practices. Which is why I keep saying Konami needs to let go of Silent Hill.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Debbie Punky has come in with another fucking essay, hasn't he? He won't email in for ages, and then when he comes back,
on there.
Yeah, you did. This is your fault.
Is this
Steve.
unabridged?
So, unabridged.
Oh,
We'll just let the hatred flow.
strap in.
So
If he was drunk, it was probably written under a bridge.
Dearest mountainous estaminets.
Wow.
I'll take it.
Yeah, don't even. Yeah. A pleasure, as always, to be writing into the Fantastic Four. Failed franchises this time. Stig reached through the digital expanse of Discord and violently fingered an old wound with a salty digit this week. The Dark Tower, beloved Happy Accident series from Stephen King, the lowbrow and less sophisticated variant of Dan Brown. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The Dark Tower movie had been rumoured for over a decade. Different directors, actors, and writers were all rumoured to have been connected at different times to tackle this gargantuan series and wrangle it into a visual media form. The most popular rumour seemed to fly around the internet was of movie entries intimately linked with the TV series.
Yep.
So the grand spectacle events would happen on the big screen, while the world building and character development could be done from the comfort of our sofas. Best of both worlds. These rumours died down eventually until Stephen King released a novella that sat between books 4 and 5 called The Wind Through the Keyhole, which was a lot of wank. A jumped-up fairy tale similar to his early work, The Eyes of the Dragon. An inoffensive romp by itself, but for anyone expecting another chapter with our beloved quartet, you are shit out of luck. It was around this time that rumours of Idris Elba being cast as Roland Deschain began to surface. This started a backlash because, as everyone knows, only gnarled 70-year-old white men can be gunslingers. Yes, Clint Eastwood was the inspiration for the character's appearance in the novels. King has repeatedly mentioned seeing Eastwood's icy stare at the cinema, one of his first experiences of a colour picture, as being the moment he created the gunslinger in his mind. But for fuck's sake, this was after Gran Torino. The road to the Dark Tower is hazardous, perilous journey with more twists than a Chubby Checker tribute act. That cowboy was not fit for the adventure ahead. So in my mind, Elba was a fucking fine choice. Man has a gunslinger's sharp eye. This was only reinforced when Matthew he's actually typed it Matthew Mahogany. Caught me off guard there. Was confirmed to be Randall Flagg. Old Snake Hips himself as the Man in Black. What a fucking pair-up. These rumours would eventually come to fruition, and we were told to prepare for the first Dark Tower movie as it began production. So this seemed like a great excuse to reread the series, which I did. It still held up, a few niggles that I didn't notice the first time around. The book could be summed up by watching High Plains Drifter and singing Hey Jude. Hey Jude. The Dark Tower follows Roland, the last of the Order of Gunslingers. Think the Knights of the Round Table with revolvers. Trained as the law keepers of their realm, able to combat magic, monstrosities, and villains with quick wits and quicker hands. Roland has an obsession with making his journey to the Dark Tower, and the series revolves around his struggle to get there. On his way, he finds people that recruits to his cause. I'll not list the characters here. Go read the fucking books. Gadget hasn't got all evening to read out this shite. You're fucking right, I don't. So when the movie came around, we went as a group. We had our tickets booked about a month in advance. Middle, centre, bucket of popcorn, box of cans smuggled in. We were in for a treat.
Yeah, boy.
When the movie was over, we left. There wasn't the usual raucous chatter that usually erupted as we all entered cinematic critic mode. I looked over my own quartet of misfits, and we felt we were all in the same boat. Our dreams of a cinematic universe of the Dark Tower being ripped down, shat upon, and left to die in the street. So what went wrong? Without exaggeration, everything. This is one of those malfactors that just alienates fans of the source material and leaves newcomers nonplussed. I'd hate to think the amount of people who've watched this decomposing mountain of wank and thought to themselves, well, I'm glad I never wasted my time reading the books. I can think of no greater sin, and everybody involved should be fucking ashamed of themselves. This was truly the wind through the keyhole all over again. This movie has forgotten the face of its franchise. Genuinely a bit sad now. Deadbeat punk.
Yeah, he's not wrong. That film, it's one of my favourite series of books ever. Like, I mean, I don't know if I agree with him, but I don't think Gunslinger's the best. I don't think he said Gunslinger's the best book, but for me,
no, he didn't. It's
number 2, The Drawing of the Threes. That's what that fucking got me right into it. But that film, that film, it's just shit.
I got excited in. You seen the movie The Mist?
Yeah.
There's a scene in there where one of the characters drawing a painting.
Yeah, I know.
And it's the Dark Tower. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, there's a movie coming. They're hinting at it. I was just so excited. You got
Randall Flagg. He always appears, doesn't he? And everything. It's just, it's just, it does my fucking head in. I don't even think Stephen King fucking cares. That's the problem.
I didn't care.
It's a fucking problem.
They make a good TV series, though.
Yeah,
that's the point. That was the idea. To do part of it. It was meant to be a mixture.
Did they do the Stand TV show?
They have.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. Never mind. I love that book as well. Yeah, just because the film's shit, don't miss out on the books, please. Just read the books. Yeah, great.
So Nimrod Hicks has come in saying, "Dear monotonous enunciations."
Ooh.
With regard to the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, my reading of its use has always been that Tarantino is outright having a knowing joke with the viewer. I believe he fully understands the briefcase is pointless and uses it to mock the MacGuffin as a device in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched Jules open it at the end, I half expected Quentin's head to pop from the case, give a wink and the gun to the camera and say, "See what I did there?" Just the way I see it, and I'm probably wrong, but hey-ho, there you go. As for potential franchises that didn't come to fruition, my offering is Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
Oh, yeah.
The 2003 movie is a wonderfully well-shot, gripping epic set at sea on a British warship during the Napoleonic Wars.
That's great.
Covers many areas and issues intelligently, including class politics, the pursuit of science, anxiety, and even workplace bullying. The 2 central performances from Captain Jack Aubrey and his confidant, the ship's surgeon Dr. Stephen Maturin, by Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany, respectively, are beautifully nuanced, and the chemistry from the pair is evident throughout. The movie went on to critical acclaim and was nominated for 10 Oscars, bagging only 2, but it was up against the third Lord of the Rings film, which otherwise swept the board. Yeah. Given the source material for Master and Commander is a series of 20 books, one could have expected that more movies may follow. However, the massive costs and only moderate commercial returns sank the whole ship, and it's a crying shame.
Yeah,
it's a good film, that.
It had Billy Boyd in it as well from Lord of the Rings.
Nimrod Hicks, it's coming back. They're doing another one.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Not with this cast.
No.
Not going to be the following cast, but they're
reboot.
They're doing a Master and Commander film again to try and potentially get
that original's
few
great.
films out of it.
So fucking good.
And last up for tonight, Angry Kurt, Best Boys, popped in saying, the failed franchise that comes to mind for me is the PS3 exclusive Haze. I remember there was a lot of hype around this game.
I remember this.
First game from Free Radical following their success with the Time Splitters games. But despite Haze being dubbed as the PlayStation's Halo killer, it wasn't.
I don't even remember
it. It ended up being a very poor FPS.
Exactly.
From what I understand, and effectively led to the end of the studio, as I don't think they made anything after Haze. It wasn't a Halo killer, and it wasn't even a touch on the Killzone games. So his was like a sci-fi shooter where
I'm looking at it now. It's got a 55 on Metacritic. I have never seen that in my life. that box art. I have never seen it.
If you got a PlayStation, it was one of the very first avatars you could have.
I mean, I did skip that generation mainly, more or less.
So the whole thing with it was that you were just soldiers in a kind of a war zone. You would take these combat enhancer drugs that would like give you almost like superpowers to fight the enemy. And then you get cut off from the supply, and it turns out you were the bad guy all along.
No way!
Yeah, without the drugs, you see that like the actual evil acts that your squad have been doing.
I'm looking at the screenshots, and I can see the.
It's so beige.
I can see the Halo inspiration there, but with no.
It was literally
no character.
Sony was saying, "We've got a Halo killer here."
Yeah.
Anything that is announced as a something killer
never is.
Always going to fail.
Yeah.
Never say that. Never.
Oh, the box art, the American box art's even worse than the PAL one. God, it's shite.
I mean, it was a shite game. I think I had it on a rental for like a day.
The first time I've ever seen that in my life.
I'll watch some videos on it. It's fucking hilarious. It's so bad. But yeah, that's the mailbag this week.
Wow.
That's a big one.
It was. Ooh.
No, it's emptied everywhere.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Emptied out. Yes. Excellent. Thank you all for writing in, and thank you guys for just unloading that. We needed that. A bit of cathartism. Do you know what I mean? We needed that. Felt good to rant. Let's get some Fantastic Four in his lives. So, it's now time for the socials and a sneak preview of what we'll be doing next week.
Yay! So thanks to a lot of hard work from our Stig, we've got a new website, which is modernescapism.co.uk.
What?
Oh, it looks lovely. Very slick, Stig. Thank you.
It
looks.
With this thing.
I know it's frustrating for you, but it looks really good.
I'm done with this shit. I'm out of here.
That's why I was a bit miserable on that PlayStation stream, because I was trying to get something to work and it was just fucking.
We could see.
Honestly,
saw the bead of sweat.
I did all these icons and everything, and it was all. And you look on the desktop version, it looks really good, and you can click on these icons, you can go through it. As soon as it got to the mobile version, it just fucks it all up. And I was like,
looks good now though.
Yeah, so I've had to change the icons to normal ones rather than what I'd already spent time doing. But there we go.
It looks very good anyway.
Yeah.
So you can find a link to all our socials and contact details on there. And I heard a rumour that perhaps from October we might also have a link to our store. But more about that in the next couple of weeks.
Biggie foot feet
left
pictures.
off my OnlyFans link.
Yeah, you're going to get some Biggie feet pictures finally. Printable.
And signed if you want.
Stickers and everything.
Oh, God. Transfers.
or wipe clean.
You don't want to know how they're sticking.
Oh.
But as always, you can find us on Twitter at modernescapism, or if you have any comments, you can either tweet us or email us at modernescapismpod@gmail.com.
Someone had to remember that.
She has 1 week off.
My cat bit my foot.
Little bastard.
That's what I was looking down.
Why do you still have that cat?
You don't choose your family.
He's cute. Unless you can join us on it.
Yeah.
Or you can join us on our wonderful Discord server, is what I've been trying to say before I got bitten savagely. Yes. If you'd like to join us fumbling our way through games, you can find us on twitch.tv/modernescapism. On Saturday, Oodles does a variety stream.
Sometimes.
Got anything planned? Maybe.
I don't know. I need to get Half-Life 2 done, don't I, really? They've
been asking for it.
The people demand it, and I bought it, so, you know what I mean? Got to be done. So, that'll be the next thing I do will be that, when I do it.
Just when you do it, no one knows.
Yeah.
Maybe Saturday, we'll see. Mondays, we've got Biggie Dies. Biggie's carrying on his playthrough of Dark Souls, and he did beat...
Ornstein and Smo.
Yes, them. So he did really well, so I'm excited to see where that
hurdle's
goes.
over, mate.
Wednesday.
I'm mixing it up this time. I'm just going to do a one death run, basically, just to see how far I can
I don't think you'll get out of the asylum,
cool.
mate. Niche joke, that one, for all you Dark Souls fans.
Yeah, Dark Souls, yeah. Wednesday, Gadget does a variety stream, and are you carrying on with Sea of Thieves?
Yeah. I mean, Stig should be doing Sea of Thieves.
And after that, they're playing
Should be.
Fast and Furious Crossroads, I believe.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
I've got
sweet.
you a code for it.
Fuck off.
I want everything. Everything. The game. I want the games played.
Yeah.
I want the TV show watched. I want everything in this franchise.
When me and Stig did Loki, we got right into it, didn't we, pal?
Yeah, but you were enjoying it.
What? I enjoy Fast and Furious, so
I enjoy listening to you more, like hating it.
get
I
ready.
was so shouty this week with the recording.
I was just giggling half of that.
I know, because I was fucking ranting. I went off
I
on
know.
one.
And then Thursday, I have my Candy's Creature feature, my horror stream, which we're carrying on with Outlast. So dicks out for Harambe for that one.
Boy.
As we've already chatted about, we've got our Patreon.
What fucking year is it?
We've gone back in time. I haven't thought about Harambe for ages. We brought it all back.
Oh, that could be the episode title.
Hashtag not
Blast to the
forget.
past.
I'm not having Dicks Out for Harambe as my podcast title. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Do you know what, as well? I was watching this is the second time in the last 24 hours I've seen reference to Harambe as well.
Friend of the show.
This guy goes around like conventions and just goes up to people and he's just like, oh, cool something costume. It's completely the opposite. Like this guy's in this really awesome Carnage costume. He's like, oh, cool Tickle Me Elmo costume. And just for stupid reactions. Yeah, and there's a guy in a Planet of the Apes, like original. Looks really good.
Yeah.
And he's like, cool Harambe costume, and just walks off.
So you're playing the Harambe simulator on whatever day you play
On
it? Thursday?
Thursdays is Harambe
Yep.
Simulator, yes.
Excellent.
And you can find us on Patreon. We've already spoken about it. So you've got 3 tiers, £5 for Modern Escapees, £5 for Scorched, or £7.50 for the Biggie Bundle, which gets you both. Next week's topic is immediate drop in quality. And I think we touched on that a little bit today, didn't we? With Heroes.
I think it's going to be more scathing, though, next week.
Yeah, I'm bringing Heroes up again.
Yeah, so what this is basically is we're not talking about a gradual drop where something got worse and worse as it went on. So we don't need like Game of Thrones season 8 kind of thing. This is something that started amazing and then literally the second thing that came out, the follow-up was just shite.
Yeah, like literally you wake up next morning, it's dropped off a cliff in front of your eyes. It's going to be scathing, don't you worry.
I've already chosen mine and I think you're going to be upset.
Uh-oh.
So that's the socials for you.
Thank you very much. And thank you all if you are not a patron supporter. This is the end for you. Your franchise is over. And as always, we'll meet the patrons round the back. But for everyone else, good night. Bye.
Do you like that? Do you like that intro?
It was very good.
Really,
I'd
that
like to
was a
say
good
that I
intro.
wrote it, but I didn't.
You did.
I literally copied that.
No.
Did you?
Oh yeah, sorry. I, on some articles I was reading, I was like, "That's a really good intro to this article. I'm going to steal it." Sorry.